All right.
Check.
Yeah, it's working.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Anything but that.
This is weird.
It's weird.
It's very weird.
Fucking weird. I'm so mad that I don't know what to do. Fighting with microphones, squeezing down to my bones, and to top it all off,
I'm with you.
Feel like going insane. Got a fire in your brain. You're thinking of drinking gasoline.
Well, a matter of fact.
Honey, I know this act. It's called the Tango Maureen. That was important. All right.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the bone era.
Yeah.
I'm still very proud of how that song turned out.
Sounds so good.
Everyone always asks me, they're like, oh, who composed that?
I feel so like
What?
smelly.
Thank you, babe.
This is the way.
No judgments.
Sarah, you can sit on the couch.
No.
No! Dark vision.
I will not.
I can't spread.
All right.
I have so much room for activity.
So, welcome everyone.
Hi.
So, last time on Welcome to the Bone Era.
Stuff.
Yeah, I need this recap.
Yes. Emily is back, but we are missing a test today, so no Lilia.
Alas.
She's going to be around and NPC'd by everybody, but that's it.
Learn how to talk.
Yes. Can any of you do the very particular British accent she does?
No, I'm not British accent.
She's the only one with the
Particular.
All right. But last time, you continued walking back to Arkala. You had a couple more days, 3 more days, I think. First, you had to figure out how to get the hell out of the house you were in, which involved spending some time looking over the book, Arnald Arloso's book, which was his journal about the house and everything and how he figured out how to use it. You did figure out up to your skill level, basically. Yes, thanks for that. That's helpful on a podcast.
A little
I'm
bit of the
joking.
bubbly.
But you figured out up to your skill level how to get the house back, which was his very first spell that he figured out to do. And it's very costly. It's 400 gold pieces worth.
500, I thought.
It's 400.
400.
Funnily enough, it was 500 and I made it 400. But it was 400 gold pieces worth of rubies, and you have to make an intelligence saving throw of 20, or else you get 4 points of exhaustion. By the way, just so that all of you know, 6 points and you're dead.
Yeah.
So it's not for like, let's just have a jolly jaunt back to the house. It's like, we need a place to be safe or to get back to the house or whatever. It also takes 10 minutes to cast, and you need a big space, 300 feet wide, in order to summon the portal.
And it comes to you, or you go to the house?
You summon the portal, and you see the forest again, and when you walk through, you're then in the pocket dimension of the house again.
Can anyone follow us, potentially?
If they were there, and
Yeah.
saw it. They'd have 6 seconds around to get in. Or you can look at the spell, because Nala and Lilia, as arcane casters, are able to cast it. Yeah. Even though Kuren's good at Arcana, he can't actually cast it because he's a cleric. So you did find out that all you have to do to put the house back where you were, you just have to concentrate on the crystal ball. and it put you guys back in the mountains.
Cool.
You continued on your way. This day before you were going to hit Arkala, you ran into this big battle that was happening with a bunch of orcs and one other orc who seemed to be fighting all these other orcs. And you met
Hi.
Anuka through this battle, which you handily dispatched all the orcs and the couple ogres. And you met a new companion, Anuka Telva. Apparently.
That's good.
And she is a orc from the Beastlands who grew up in a temple to Weejas and is now a paladin of Weejas.
Does such a better job than I do.
You decided to team up because Anuka was looking for sort of a direction. And you guys were like, well, we're going back to the city and there's this tournament thingy. And Anuka was like, great. And so you keep heading in the direction of Arkala. The rest of the trip goes rather smoothly and you end up back at the city. When you get there, you notice there's a massive line of people coming into the city, waving all sorts of flags from different nations across the entire planet of Krintovi. So not only from Venevra, but from the mainland, from the Beastlands. There was a specific one from Gathlando, the Dragon Lands. And Nala decided to talk to them. They were just there to visit and view the tournament. But we did find out that there is a party of Dragonborn who are going to be taking part.
Also competing?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a party of Dragonborn. Got it. Okay.
You haven't met the rest of the parties. This is just what you picked up in the conversations you had. You then got in line. You had a conversation with one Thunthorpe Thrippy, who was a halfling, and he and his halfling band were on their cart and playing music and stuff, and you talked to them, and they said that they were going to enter as well. And they also told you that you can enter, the deadline is like the day before the opening ceremonies.
For entering the tournament?
Yeah, and you had a few days as you got back before the tournament actually started in the opening ceremonies. You went in. You had some adventures at temples. Specifically, Lilia went to the Temple of Yaren and met the two really bizarre bro-like priests of Yaren again.
Joseph and not Joseph.
Joseph and not Joseph. And they said they didn't know anything specific about the Morlos problem yet, but they were praying and talking to Yaren as much as they could. Nala went to a temple of Bahamut and did this very loud prayer, introducing herself and saying goodbye to the wyvern you killed.
Aww.
And Nala noticed there was another gold dragonborn who sort of nodded at Nala in the place, but there was no other conversation to be had yet. And the two Weejas people, Kira and Anuka, went to the temple of Weejas and did something there.
Stuff happens.
Did something.
there was prayer.
I was
there
mostly uncomfortable.
Yeah, there was a kid mourning in it, but that was all that was there except for like the other burial mounds. And there was some talking to Weejas. That happened. After that, you decided to go back to the Resistance base, the Resistenza base, where only the weird twins were.
The weird elf twins?
Yeah, the Eladrin, and they are looking particularly autumnal now.
They look like fall?
Yeah.
They
So
got the leaves and stuff.
Eladrin follow seasons,
Oh.
and it changes how they look.
Cool.
It's a pretty cool race. Anyway, so you meet with them, and they were like, "Oh, we're actually supposed to be taking care of Nigel's store right now," and because Nigel apparently was called away for a special assignment from the king.
That's not good. He's gonna get killed, guys.
And so
We're covered. We can't blow his cover.
the Eladrin take off. You check your beer. It's fine. You've got about a week before you can bottle it, basically.
The essentials.
Yeah. I believe you went to sleep. I don't remember. You eventually ended up back at the magic store and talked for some reason about something. I don't remember.
We haven't been back to the magic store. We went
you
to
definitely-
you went
Tupin's. They
to
to
the,
Tupin's, and I went to the blacksmith.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you went to the magic store.
No, we
No.
didn't run back in.
Okay, never mind then. So you haven't
But we
checked
need
out
to
the
go,
magic
right?
store.
I feel we have to.
So you know. And
Wink,
you,
wink.
you did go to the blacksmith. You asked about the glaive that you had lost, and they took a very long, suspicious time looking for it, and then said that, no, we've never seen anything like that. You came back the next day and cast a locate object spell, but Anuka did it and didn't really know what it looked like, so it didn't work.
Shit.
Um,
We gotta try that guy. I bet. I say we break it.
How about no?
and
Why not?
the other thing, Shar and Nala went to Tupin's Tinctures and Tonics.
Yes.
And Shar asked to be trained in making of antidotes and things, and he said, due to the tournament, I'm very busy right now, but come back in like a week, or after the tournament is over, and we can talk about training. And Shar also asked if Tupin would take the flowers and take care of them for her, instead of her carrying them around. And he said sure, with a very good persuasion check.
It was a good persuasion check.
It was, yeah. And then the day before, technically, it was the day before opening ceremonies, so you've actually got an entire extra day here in the city. Nice.
Didn't they ask us to not leave the tournament grounds, though?
Only when you were part
Only
of
when
the
it
tournament.
starts.
Yeah.
when it begins.
So you
So we gotta
are
go to the magic store first. basically.
you are currently talking with this man whose name is Democrito Zolezi. I have to get back into my weird old person voice.
Can you spell that, please?
Weird old person.
DEMOCRITO. And then my last name is Zolezi. ZOLEZZI.
Great. Thanks.
So I
Democrito
have
Zolezi.
just now finished explaining the rules, but I'd like to go a little more in depth now, because I was a little rushed for fake time last time.
Wait, this is the tournament guy?
Yes, so you are currently
We're
in.
learning about.
He's like the spokesperson or what?
He is
the
the guy
sign
who
guy.
signs people up for this tournament, and he's apparently been doing it for 30 years.
So he knows
Everything.
the captain.
Career man.
Presumably.
Oh, why? Did the captain participate in the tournament?
you don't know if the captain
said he
participated in the
did.
tournament,
Yeah,
did
I think
He did when we were
But
flirting.
he? Man, it sucks having
Not
episodes that we didn't
having
record.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
remember
hearsay.
what me and
I
mine-
believe that he said that there was a tournament. I'm not sure that he...
Because I brought up that we were going to do
Sure. You know what? I will roll to see if that's canon.
What are the chances?
Yep, he participated in the
Yay!
tournament. Excellent
It's in my
stuff.
notes, that's all I
All
know.
right, great.
That's
So
full
we'll
of
go with
shit.
that. Anyway,
My notes are pretty sparse and then very detailed.
about just Ernesto
Very
Strada.
sparse. Gotta remember.
Gotta keep notes on the guy you banged. All
Otherwise
right.
you're sure.
Yeah. So, you went to this tent, which is on the sort of... It's in the square. So if you take a look at that map that I handed you, I did add the stadium itself.
Yes.
Let me walk around this table and make sure this doesn't stop recording. It's good. So, here's the stadium. This whole section, and there's a tiny line that I drew here, is all tournament grounds. There seem to be some, like, carnival games and stuff on the south end of it and on the west end. There's a path that leads from the stadium directly into the square, here, and that seems to be where all the tournament participants are. People who want to come see the tournament go to the far west end of this very light square that I drew, and they can walk in and get to the tournament grounds and get into the visitor section of the tournament. So it's split off between people who are entering the tournament. They have their own section and their own path to the stadium itself.
Got it.
And then the visitors just get a small path in the square, which leads to the tournament area where they can play games and whatnot, as well as enjoy the actual tournament events. So Democrito says, So, I sort of explained the scoring system last time. Just to be clear, 60 points possible total for each team. 30 of those points are for the battle, and 30 of them are in the other events, the skill events, that you can take part in. All of this scoring is done based on how well you do in each of them. It's straightforward, and you'll get to that when you actually compete, because it's much easier just to do it that way. As far as the schedule goes... Yes, it's important to know the actual schedule. I do have to actually open it, though, and find out. All right.
Daisy.
Yeah, Daisy's meowing.
Can Daisy do an individual event?
He actually just notices Daisy and goes, "Ah! Is the cougar friendly?"
Yes.
Lilia's like, "Yes,
No,
it's fine."
Lilia says, "Oh, only if you're nice or something." I don't know. She said something sassy.
We're all
like,
so good at testing.
If it likes you.
Oh, all right, he says. I've seen weirder in my 30 years. Anyway, the skill challenges are as such.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
If I can open the frickin' correct thing. Because I have failed 4 times now.
I believe in you. You must believe.
Here we
This
go.
is still the same doc. Or is
This
this a
is
different-
my personal notes,
Oh, okay.
which then go into the doc.
Okay, cool.
All
Yeah,
right.
I need to go through those.
So, to stop doing that voice, on the first day, which is technically 2 days from now, because it's basically 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon when you're signing up for this, is what I've decided.
And the tournament.
And then the tournament opening ceremonies are tomorrow evening.
Got it.
And he says, you do have to, as an entrant, be at the tournament grounds and assigned your lodging at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and then you are not allowed to leave the tournament grounds until it is complete by order of King Salvador I.
We're all gonna get murdered.
Long may he reign.
Long
like
may
burn?
he reign. So the schedule,
Yes.
the first day is the strength challenge, and you get to choose either of one of the dexterity challenges. The strength challenge is pushing different sizes of rock 10 feet, and you have to roll play it.
Okay.
And then the dex challenges, you get to choose between one. There's either an archery or an acrobatics course. And then there's battles of 3 of the teams each day. Because there are 9 teams. The second day is the Constitution, the drinking contest one,
Oh my god.
and the Intelligence, which is just a 3-question quiz, basically. And then 3 more battles.
And then wait, sorry, intelligence 3 questions?
Yeah, it's a quiz. But if you don't know it, you can then use your character's knowledge, is the idea.
Would I know the answer?
That's the very
funny.
clever trick. And then on the third day is the Wisdom Challenge, which is basically spot the difference on a large grand scale in the stadium. And then the Charisma thing. Interestingly, you note that he did mention that Charisma was going to start it off. They seem to have changed the schedule. It may or may not be because our bard is missing. And then 3 of your battles. And he looks at the schedule for a second and goes, all right, so the Bone Era. Each one of you will have to sign up for one of the events, and your battle will be set for the 3rd day.
Okay.
You will face a monster or monsters, and you won't die. We have people to make sure of that on hand.
So do we.
But it is going to be harrowing, just so you know. They have to be challenging to make it interesting.
I just want to make sure. We're not fighting other people, correct? Just beasts?
Just beasts, yes. This is supposed to be a sort of camaraderie event. One that it's a friendly competition, not one that's at arms against each other. Anyway, thank you for signing up. Please be back here, or at the gate to my left, or this tent's left, and they will let you in with this writ. Hands it to someone. And you've got
Nala
you've
would
got
grab
a
it at the same time.
rips it in half.
Take it.
Nala takes the writ. You've got just a writ of tournament entry. Yeah. And so you and your 5 other companions can get in, and you are provided lodgings and food for the 3 days. That's half of what the 200 gold went into as well.
And we can leave Daisy in our tent.
I would just prefer keeping her away from me.
Fair enough.
So, yes.
Fair enough.
I'll lock her back at the bar.
Can't always trust a cougar, can you?
You know we just a cougar. Give me Daisy. Give me
She like
Daisy.
purrs
Yeah.
as you scratch her. Anyway, please leave now.
Well, thank you for the information. We will be sure to be back by 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Great. All right. I don't have to do that voice again.
Put that one on the list of not fun.
So you have, I mean, it's kind of fun, but it's difficult to get a lot of information.
It sounds
out.
like my dad's NPC voices.
So you now have the evening, and then tomorrow into the afternoon for whatever else you want to do in the city prior to the tournament beginning.
Do we need to sign up now?
We
We're
are
already
already
signed
signed up.
That was at the
I
end.
have the
Sorry.
writ.
No. Do we need to sign up for our individual events? Didn't he say?
He didn't say anything about
Didn't say
that.
Oh, okay.
I
You'll
assume
sign
we'll
up.
probably.
Basically, one of you goes forward in each one, but you can only take part in one each. Is the idea.
Okay.
We'll use the day to discuss what we feel comfortable with entering into.
Well,
The city
obviously
streets
I'm
of-
the strength.
Of course.
Clearly. The city streets of Arkala are still massively bustling. More people are still pouring in. Where you are right now is at the northern end of the temple district. And you can see the gates from where you're standing some 800 feet away or something, and they are still coming in. People are trying to find places to stay and whatnot in the various inns, and lots of them seem to be full up. And
I know it's super busy, but do we see Nigel around?
make a perception check.
Can we all kind of look?
Yes.
That is a 7.
Natural 1. No, it like bounced out of the
It was
tower.
cocked. Do it again.
Okay.
14.
Okay.
9.
Guys, we're fucking nailing it.
12.
So many people.
No one sees Nigel.
And you don't know who Nigel is, so yeah. All right. Yeah, so you do not see Nigel at the moment.
Should we go to the magic store?
I think that would be
Sure.
a good idea.
I could use some magic.
Anuka, would you like to go around town with us to the magic store?
I would love to. I can't imagine what else I would do besides get lost in this massive place.
No, like her.
There are contestants from all over the world. Is there contestants from Hungary?
You asking the guy who just asked you to leave, or who? Are
No,
you
I'm asking the group if anyone has noticed if they're familiar with Hungary, if they may have contestants or
make a
flags.
perception check, because you know.
Would I know if
Make a perception check.
me or him?
You as well, both of you.
16.
Okay.
Perception?
Yeah.
18.
You have not seen. You've seen like the odd high elf, but not like a general group of them or anything. You haven't even seen parties from there.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
that makes sense.
Just, they said, from all over the world. That'd be interesting.
Except
One notable
the
exception,
country
Except the
we're
one we're
at
at
war
war
with. Long may he reign.
All right.
Alright.
So you're heading.
Magic
Oh,
shop.
magic shop.
Magic shop.
Okay.
That's what I meant. Music.
So you head over to the bright light.
The bright
as you,
light.
It takes you a while to get there because you have to make it through the just massive crowds, especially into the merchant district.
We did go last time, but we didn't look at anything.
Yeah, you didn't look
Yeah.
at anything. I knew you did go there,
We just
and then you talked, and then you left.
All
to the
business.
guy?
All
We
business.
talked to the Elijah.
Eladrin, because
Yeah,
Nigel isn't there.
Oh,
The Eladrin.
it's Nigel's shop?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Vidar's in Esterosi.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's another thing you did. You talked to Vidar, and he said in Esterosi, he said that he saw troops that he doesn't recognize hold down the fort. Is something he said in
Yeah.
Ascending Spell by Kieran.
So Vidar is the high elf who runs the magic shop in Oster.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Veneer is the high elf who runs the...
Nope.
No.
Nigel.
Nigel is the one
Nigel.
who runs the
Nigel.
shop
Then
in-
who got summoned to the capital?
to the capital.
Vidar?
No,
They have
Nigel-
a teleportation circle.
Nigel got summoned for a special job,
Okay,
and Nigel is the one who runs the shop here.
right.
in
And the
Arkala.
Eladrian are currently watching
Just
the shop.
watching the show.
Got it.
And they are, yes.
Awesome.
They are what they are.
Yeah.
They sure are there.
They sure are.
So this is the merchant district, Anuka. If you ever need any work done, there's a shop, The Perfect Stitch. We've done a favor for the owner. They might be able to get you outfitted if you want anything done to your clothing.
Interesting.
So you head through, and you make your way through the crowd, and it is difficult because now people are coming to the store.
Yeah, keep an
to
eye
the
on,
thing,
on your face.
Stuff.
Yeah.
to the city that's now bustling, and it's a big city, and people like to shop. So they are lots of people are shopping, and you do eventually get to the Bright Light, which has a few people
That's what it's called?
in it. Yeah, the Bright Light. And interestingly, it seems like some people are avoiding it, like they're creeped out, I guess, by the shop as you approach. But you head inside. The Eladrin are sitting there. One of them, as they were doing last time you were here, rolls a die. I believe you've won again. Oh, yes, I have. How about that? Oh, visitors. Oh, it's you again.
Howdy.
Welcome, welcome. How is it going?
What up, squad?
It's going well. How about
We've
yourself? How's business?
signed up for the tournament.
Oh, excellent. I hope you do well.
Thank you.
I'm not sure what the prize is. Nigel had handled that a while ago.
Do you mean he picked the prize for the tournament?
A couple of the prizes for the tournament are magical items, so he had a hand in them, evidently. But we were tasked with just looking over his shop as it switches from Kacharan over to Carrie. Tasked with looking over the shop while he's on his special assignment.
Sabbatical.
Well, how's business?
We've got a few people. I think we put some people off, though. But if you, as friends, would care to look around, we have quite a few things that are ready-made, and I can always put in a order with Nigel, and he could get that started for you, whatever you wish. Anyway, feel free to look around.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah.
Take in what's around.
Look
Alright,
around.
so you look
Who wants
around?
to look around first?
Let's all look around.
I'm just going to tell you what's
Yes,
in
you
it. It's a
mentioned-
shop.
Okay.
The idea of making investigation checks in shops makes me very confused.
Yeah.
Because, unless they're, hiding it.
Yeah.
That
doesn't make any sense.
So in this case, it's just they're labeled and they are on display
Okay.
in this shop. It's a small store, but there's a few things that are clearly already made. There are a few health potions, 4 normal ones, 2 greater, and 1 superior, which is in this massive bottle. You don't see these very often, and they're very, very pricey.
Superior health potion?
Yes.
Okay.
There's one thing that's labeled Wand of Web, and it's this finely made wand with sort of a curve on the end into sort of a spidery motif on the end.
Okay.
That looks pretty cool. It's a nice dark wood. There is something called a drift globe, which just seems to be a sphere of clear. It looks like a crystal ball. It's labeled drift globe. You assume you have to ask if anything's particularly interesting to you.
Yeah.
There is an actual bag of holding.
We have one though, right?
We
you
have
have
a
a
haversack.
haversack?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
Um,
not the same thing.
Yeah, haversacks
Similar
have
but
less
different.
space.
okay.
Haversacks are like certain video game inventories where you have a certain amount of space and you have to fit everything in.
Got it.
And
Resident
whereas a bag
Evil
of
4.
holding is just like a almost endless
Okay.
thing. There is something called a ring of protection, which you can assume what it is. A potion of water breathing. A wand of enemy detection. And, interestingly, and you know this from earlier, since Nigel and Vidar had said there isn't really a magical weapon shop, but there is a longbow that looks quite a lot like what Amelia had.
I was up
So,
about that. Oh my god. Well, okay. Well, Shar immediately is drawn to this bow.
and Kracharin, glides over to you. Oh, yes. We had a commission for that, but that was 3 months ago, and he never came back to pick it up, so we've decided to sell it, apparently. Or Nigel did. We were told to tell you that story.
Someone commissioned it 3 months ago.
Yes, and never came back to pick it up. And we have a limit on these things, you see. It costs a lot and has a lot of effort. I'm just going based on the script that Nigel gave me, of course, but evidently it takes a lot of effort to enchant things and it costs a lot, so eventually, if you don't pick up your item, we have to, sell it.
Do you happen to know the name of the individual that commissioned it?
I could look it up for you. Actually, why?
Oh, I'm wondering if it might be someone we're familiar with.
Did they speak Sylvan?
They do speak
Does
Sylvan.
anyone else speak Sylvan?
No.
I speak Elvish, but that's
Yeah,
different.
that's what I thought.
Sylvan
That's
is
what I thought.
specifically the,
High elf, right?
fairy land, elvish, yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna switch to Sylvan and I'm gonna say, who is it that would commission something like this and leave it?
Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
actually.
Oh god, which one should I use? I'll use this one. 11 plus 5, 16.
I think that Nigel wouldn't appreciate private, and they are speaking Sylvan.
Yeah.
To you guys, it sounds like it sounds like Elvish, but it's got this sort of airy quality behind it.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
But they say, I
Yeah.
don't think Nigel would appreciate us giving out
Confidence.
customer information, unfortunately. I know you're friends.
And yet,
But,
Nigel told you specifically to tell me this story.
Well, that's why it's here, specifically. Because otherwise we wouldn't normally carry weapons of this sort of nature. It's just an interesting backstory for the item, I guess.
I see. Okay, I'm gonna switch back to common. I'm gonna ask how much it is.
This'll be, and they switch back with you.
Yeah.
This'll be, goes back behind the desk and, opens a thing. A book. 1,000 gold for that?
Awesome. Okay. And what's the
Oh, it's just
to
a
it? Like, what does it
it's
do?
a slightly magical longbow.
Yeah.
And it allows you to hit things a little harder and get past certain resistances some beasts might have to non-magical things. It's a +1 longbow.
It's just a +1.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
It looks very similar to the one Amelia had.
Oh, okay. What's that look like?
It was a very nicely made sort of elvish style longbow with designs all down it that's sort of slightly glow, a sort of red.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not enough to give away your position, but you can tell there's some sort of magic etched into the
Great.
thing there.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at the drift globe. I'm curious about that.
And Carrie this time glides around the opposite side of the desk. Ah, yes, this is a wonderful item. It can be very useful in certain situations. You see, if you speak the command word, which you design yourself, we have it currently set to Umbalista. And they let it go, and it immediately lights up, and it's just like daylight in your eyes. And they're like, I haven't used it very much, but this is what it is. Do a last, and it turns off again. But what happens is it floats and gives off a daylight, and it can follow you around.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Are there any books in this magic shop?
Always. Always.
Of course.
I want to ask
Why
about the
not?
light of protection
Yes.
and the potion of water
She's
breathing
there.
and the wand of enemy detection.
Yeah.
Okay, there are no books here.
Imagine-
Okay.
Imagine that.
Yeah, look, why don't we just ask what everything is?
Okay, that's easy enough.
Okay.
So I'll go through it.
Start with wand of web.
I've started with Wand of Enemy Detection. The Wand of
Okay.
Enemy Detection, you speak a command word and you know the direction of the nearest hostile creature,
Ooh.
Okay.
basically. And it also can sense presence of things that are invisible or ethereal or
Okay.
whatever. So it just gets through that sort of thing.
How much is that one?
It is... The Wand of Enemy Detection is 4,000 gold.
It's
Okay.
Alright.
The Wand of Web allows you to cast a web spell, which conjures this big sticky stuff in a 60-foot area or a 20-foot cube. and sticks people to things. Yeah, it can make things restrained
Okay.
in battle, but that's 8,000 gold.
So we're buying both of them right now.
Yeah, what
The potion of water breathing does what it says in the tin.
Mhm.
It's only 200 gold, though.
How long does it last?
I think it's like the spell, which is, I believe, 8 hours.
Okay.
I might get that.
How much is it?
Nope, 1 hour for the potion.
Only 1 hour for 200 gold.
For 200 gold. That just allows you to breathe water. Ring of Protection is a +1 AC bonus.
Cool.
And it's 3,500 gold, though.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
I'll save up.
Yeah.
That's great. How much is the bag of holding?
4,000.
It might go
4,000. I
15
figured.
or that's
If possible, while the shop owner or the shopkeepers are explaining the inventory to the group,
Sure, and that's
Nala
happening.
would love to try and just look into that back room, try and see if they can see the teleportation circle that was used.
Okay. Make a perception check. Door is open, but
That's a natural 20. Natural 20 right
Oh my
there.
god.
what's your
Wow.
perception bonus?
+2, so 22.
22? Okay. I will say, with a 22, you can see the outside of it, and it is clearly in a back room. So you can see clearly into the back room. There's like one room directly behind the counter, basically. So you go through a door, and there's one room, and there seem to be just implements and random things around, and like a cloak that's been laid out, and a bunch of pieces of paper that have been scribbled, and other magical implements to cast spells and stuff. And then beyond that, there's another room, and you just see the corner of it, the edge of it, 1/3 of it, basically.
Cool.
Anyway, from this, you'd have to spend a minute looking at it entirely to be able to memorize it. So even if you could see around the door, you'd have to, yeah. So.
I will not go down the hall.
Yeah, alright,
I figured
alright.
there's something
Yeah.
protecting me.
I think Wynn wants to buy a potion of
Yeah,
water.
the water breathing potion.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's 200 gold, please.
Alright.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm looking at this longbow. So you said there's like it's similar to hers in the design that like is on it. Does it look?
It almost looks exactly like what Amelia had, which implies that maybe Nigel made hers, is what I was getting at.
Oh, got it. Cool. I was gonna say because it was custom made. If I studied it, would I be able to maybe see if I recognized anything that might hint toward who commissioned this in the first place?
Not really, because it's
Okay.
just a longbow that was handed to him. Because when you commission a magical item, you just hand like, here's the thing. Could you make this magical for me? And then the magician spends time casting spells on it and whatnot, and expending money to make it more powerful.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a process of taking a simple item and making it more interesting.
So it adds 1 to my hit DC.
And your damage.
Oh.
You can add a longbow +1 in D&D Beyond.
Okay.
And that's 1,000 gold, please.
Okay. I'll take it.
Great.
It looks great in your hands, by the way.
Fits.
Thanks. Oh, I accidentally added 900 gold.
Yeah, not that.
Give us back our gold, please. I don't know how you got that, to be honest. We were standing right here.
rogue magic.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So look at
Would
this.
anyone else like anything?
I'm like taking out my old bow from my back and just looking at it.
And then just snap it.
Done with this.
You're garbage.
Can we fit it in a haversack?
Sure.
It'll fit in the
Got
haversack.
everything else in there.
Okay,
Sure.
great.
All right, I've added your longbow +1. Anyway, so
After Nala peeked at the...
yep, you definitely saw there's one back there. Yep, definitely.
She's gonna look at the Dimensions and Doorways Volume 1 book.
Okay.
She's gonna think, using, if I may, my researcher background, to think really hard where they may be able to find Volume 2 and 3 or any others. Sage researcher, when you attempt to learn or recall a piece of lore, if you do not know that information, you often know where or from whom you can obtain
Sure,
it.
you could go to the library and ask around. The problem is this is a very old book, so
Everything's
finding it
a
might be someplace like Tertiva.
Tertiva.
You know, a big sorcery school. There's also one in Hondere, in Marshtown.
Gotcha.
which you might know. I'll give it to you.
Eventually, maybe.
You heard it through the grapevine. All right. Anything else you'd like to do today? Or
I send my
into-
letter.
Miss
You send your letter?
Health
Great. So that
potions.
costs...
Do you want to buy any?
ooh.
potions?
Oh,
Do I
I've
have to buy
already
a
got
stamp
3.
or something?
To get to
I'm
where you're
pretty
sending it,
set. They only have one.
that's going to be tough. I'm going to have you make a investigation check to see if you
Okay.
can find someone who can go there. There's a war going on.
What is that?
That's a 3.
Okay, I rolled a 5 then.
You are unable to find someone to cart that letter during a war.
Fuck.
The last time you were able to was because Veneer was going there.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Visibly frustrated.
Anything else today?
Not today. Maybe tomorrow.
Anything you'd like to see around town, Anuka?
On second thought, I'm gonna buy one of the greater health potions. But
Okay, greater health potions are pretty expensive.
You add the potion of water.
Yes.
Just whip out that MasterCard.
Oh no, they're,
I never spend any money.
currently with
Everyone
the
uses Discover.
with the tourism, it's 200 gold.
That's fine. What is that under then?
Potion of healing greater, I think, is what it's called in the thing. It should just be potion of greater healing, but I think they just wanted to go potion of healing and then all the
Greater.
different types.
Yeah.
But it's awkward. You'll find it.
I found it.
All right.
I did.
Let's go to bed.
thing.
All right. So time skip a little ahead. You find yourselves to sleep underground. Interestingly,
Wait, where are we sleeping?
in the Resistencia
right.
bar.
In the base, yeah.
You sort of have a drink and some food down there. Emily from upstairs in the bar. Make sure you're fed.
No resistential members.
Not right now.
While we're
everyone's
eating,
working.
can I go talk to... I want to go talk to Nala.
Sure.
She's still while reading the journal. Hello.
Are you at the same table by yourself you were when we were all partying that one night?
Maybe.
Always
yes. Yes.
Nala has claimed it.
Can I talk to you for a minute?
Nala was here.
Of course.
Sit down.
So you can still sort of hear sounds of
Yeah.
people in the background. Like outside, the city's still bustling.
What can I do for you?
I just wanted to ask you about that dream you had the other night. I am having a hard time focusing on the frivolity of this tournament when I know there is something greater I need to be doing. And I wanted to ask if you felt the same way.
Absolutely. I actually have been wondering if I've been straying away from what I've meant to do. Although, seeing others of my kin around has been a good respite for myself. I think it's in that fact alone that I'm pretty certain I'll see through to this tournament. Afterwards, who's to know, I may definitely take that vision that I had, if it was a vision, into serious priority for myself. Why do you ask? Do you yourself have your own pressing matters that you have to attend to in urgency?
I think we all have our own reasons for being here, doing what we're doing. I don't know. I feel very far away from home.
I think we all are pretty far away from our homes.
I take a sip of Nala's drink.
It's just water.
It's just water.
I'm just staring at it.
Arkala has well water. It's
I
kind
was
of
expecting
salty.
ale.
Yeah. No.
I'm gonna go find some ale.
Yeah, that
Stand up and go
Constitution
find
challenge
something to
right
drink.
now.
You knock on the top. Emily's like, oh, and she's
Here.
like already got one ready. I was coming down with a round, so so you got that.
And for the rest of the night, I'm reading the journal. If I
Okay.
Oh, is this the guys? The
so,
Arlos?
you are unable to. I'm not even having you roll because basically, game rules, how it's working, is you are able to understand a lot of the ancient common. But a lot of those are just sort of notes or like notes to himself, like remember to do this tomorrow and whatnot. But you can add Old Common, at least reading, to your extra languages.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
And you too, Kieran.
What?
You can add Ancient Common or Old Common to your added languages. Just reading, though, because you don't know how it's pronounced. So you can literally just do a custom language.
Thank you.
But... Yeah, so
Olde.
Oldie, ye oldie common. But you notice that most of those notes that he makes they get sparser as you go. And you eventually figure out that there are basically 3 spells in this book.
Okay.
There is one that you've already figured out, and there are 2 above your current capabilities. As far as game rules go, you need higher level spell slots.
Of course.
Just to describe it. But you are able to read all his little notes and stuff. And you do see like some that say stuff about like, I'm really glad we're sort of safe here. It feels better than out there.
Who said this?
Arnold Arloso.
Oh, in the journal.
As he's journaling. And as you get closer to the end, things are getting dark.
Excellent.
The notes that he makes are more, I don't know if I can protect my family even here, and that sort of thing. So, standard 10,000 years ago, but never stuff.
Naturally.
All right. So, as you finish up your meals and whatnot, you find rooms. There's no one else here, so you have your pick of the rooms, and you head down. Throughout the night.
Can I go see if I can find a hairbrush anywhere?
In this house, in real life? Or
What? No. In the hotel, in this safe place. You said there's like what?
Make an investigation.
I want to find a hairbrush. This dice doesn't.
I imagine I've been brushing your hair as I'm reading it here.
Oh, you have a hairbrush?
Just like
Yeah, he's a father.
17 plus.
naturally.
Wait.
Out of the
Investigation.
dad
I rolled a 19.
Okay, so you go into one of the rooms, and you remember that this was, like, Lilia had slept in it once. You go into it, and you're, like, checking the drawers. It's like, what the fuck can I find? And you do find one.
Great.
And it's got sort of medium-length blonde hair.
Perfect. I'm not even going to pick them out. I'm going to just I'm just going to go back to the room, sit on the bed, undo my brain brush.
It's my brush.
It's your brush. It's fine.
It's Sarah's.
Cool. I'm taking the brush and I'm
Specifically.
adding a hairbrush to my...
Yes, you have a hairbrush that you stole from
Yay!
probably Johanna. But that's it.
Oh, it's Johanna's. Nice.
Anyway,
I've
Nice.
seen a hairbrush.
Anyway.
How do I add... Oh, wait. Here's a hairbrush.
That's working again.
Oh.
Great.
Custom item.
It just comes, it stops working every once in a while. Anyway, I don't know why that happens. Regardless, in the night, as you sleep safely, Shar,
Oh, shit. Hang on. Wait. I'm adding Joanna's hairbrush to my
Priorities.
inventory.
The hairbrush
One
comes.
thing at a time. Okay,
Sure.
okay.
Expect the hairbrush saves your life.
So as you bed down, you close your eyes and you think about how you got here and that letter you sent.
Tried to send.
Oh, you sent one though.
Oh, yeah.
And as you are nearly falling asleep, you hear this. And a letter floats down in front of you on the pillow. Now, look at this. Do not try to open it because this wax is so bad that I don't want you to rip the prop because I've definitely ripped 6 versions of it. So just take a look at it and then I'm going to try and open it for you with a knife.
I'm in the room, right? I assume.
I'll make a
We're
perception
roommates?
check. I resist
Yeah.
a bit, but it's fine.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So you can read that on your own time.
I rolled
All right.
22.
22. Yes, you did notice the fact that something appeared in a flash of light in front of Shar, and she immediately opens it. But yeah, you can read that on your own time. It's this is technically your own time. But it is written in my terrible cursive, and so I hope you enjoy. But as the night progresses, Nothing else happens exciting in this sleepy time. And you all wake up relatively refreshed. And
Yeah.
you have most of the day, unless you want to just skip forward.
I did want to make another go of trying to find the Njord's temple.
Njord's temple, okay.
Yeah.
So as Emily reads that, roll an investigation check.
Okay. Do better this time.
Cameron! Oh.
Sorry.
Aw. Okay, much better. 21.
21.
Aw.
Leave me alone.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to be supportive.
So you are able to locate Njord's temple this time, and it is in the temple district. You just missed it last time.
Yeah.
You must have walked by while there were hundreds of people in front of it. Once you're done with that,
I'm fine. Everything's fine.
could I skip back to you? It's yours.
Oh.
That's yours. Yeah.
And
Great.
make an intelligence check for me.
Oh, shit. I've been rolling so shitty today. Intelligence? Just straight intelligence? 7.
Okay.
Do you want to put it in your sketchbook?
What?
Do you want to put that in your sketchbook?
No. Oh, yeah, sure.
So currently, that's all you notice is that it's a letter.
Is she crying in person?
She would have been. We'll get back to that if you want to talk.
Because I imagine.
So we'll skip back to that. But you did find Njord's temple. Out front of Njord's temple is a 2 pedestals upon which standing men are with nets.
Okay.
And they are standing there flanking the door. This seems to be a temple that doesn't... I mean, it's got a few people coming in and out because it is a sailing town.
Right.
And some people particularly like, making sure the Lord of the Sea doesn't fuck everything up.
Except not of the actual sea.
Except not of the Lords of the Sea.
Yes.
With quotes
Except
around
we're
the
not
word
at sea.
sea.
Yes.
But you head inside, I'm assuming, and you see this is... all along the walls is this mural of the ocean, and you can see it. It wraps all the way around through the doors and all along all the walls, and in the back is a setup of a massive statue of who you assume to be Njord, a large bearded buff man, and he is standing there in sailing
Being buff.
outfit.
Okay.
There are a few people walking in and out.
Okay. So there's like pews, or is there like an altar?
In this one, there are no pews.
Okay.
But there is an altar in front of his statue. Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go up, take my necklace off,
Okay.
and lay it on there, just like takes a moment. Hi, I know we've never talked, but Mom seemed to think you knew what you were doing, so I'm willing to at least try to reach out. Never been much of a man for deity worship. Just didn't seem practical. If there's something you need to do, you need to do it yourself. But everything that's been going on, it's a little frightening that I can't quite grasp it. I don't like that there's stuff that I don't know or that I don't understand. So I don't know if I'm even asking for your help. I'm not good at that. But just whatever's going on with fucking Morlos or whoever, maybe just keep an eye on that, because it seems like it's bad, and I just need to know that someone's working on it, and even if it's not me.
Okay. Make a religion check.
Okay. Okay. 15.
Okay. You sort of sense, as you finish your prayer, the candles on the outsides slightly flare and then die down again.
Okay. Put the necklace back on.
I like this world where God's
Nod
actually
and
talk to you.
nod and
Yes,
walk
my
out.
gods are very involved.
I'll nod and I'll walk out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Skipping back to last night.
Mhm.
Wait,
Shar,
was that in the morning?
Yeah,
Yeah,
was
that's the
I,
next
I got
day.
up early
If
and I went over there. by
Kieran,
myself.
you do notice Shar.
I'm gonna go get a cup of hot cocoa. If I can do that.
Okay. You head out. You knock on Emily's or the door, and eventually she does come. It's actually very bustling in the bar at this point because everybody's trying to find a place. She's like, yes,
Can I get a cup of hot cocoa when you have a moment?
hot cocoa. I think I might have some left. Sure, that's fine. And she comes back a couple minutes later.
I'll give her.
She's
one
a very
gold
diligent person.
piece. I'll give her a gold piece as a thank you.
Oh, great, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Heads
Left.
off, closes the door.
And then I'm just gonna go like slide it onto the table.
Sure.
And I assume there's a
There's a bedside
small
table in between the beds.
and then the hanky,
Aw.
and I'll just go get back in bed.
I'll take the handkerchief. Like, do what I just did with the tissue. Has Shar ever had hot cocoa? Do they have hot cocoa where I'm from?
I don't know.
Nope.
Oh boy!
You're in luck.
They lived for 800 years, but nobody could figure out that
Hang on.
cocoa plus sugar is fucking tasty.
Alright, here's what I'm gonna do.
Sniff and sip. And
So
then
sips and
down.
then down. But yeah. It's good.
Glug, 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 glug.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right, back to today. If anybody has anything else,
Just chugs.
otherwise we
Talk
can
about
skip to about 3.
Talk about
Who needs
feeling.
feelings?
Karen, that's the most I've cried in like months.
I'm glad I could
Shit.
write a roleplay
facilitating.
letter.
Oh my god. I'm already so invested.
Anuka wants to walk up to Shah.
Sure.
And say, we haven't talked a lot since I've started with your little group bone era. I was wondering, where are you from?
I'm from Honderi. I flap my ears a little bit.
My mother's from Oster, but she hasn't told me where. She told me stories of her home. I've never been there.
Well, Oster is north.
Oster's north. Honderi is south.
So Honderi is the south part of Invar, which is where we are now.
I didn't pay
Been to
attention
Oster,
to
though.
geography. I was just saying that
Church
because
living.
you remind me of my mother a little bit.
Was your mother an elf or an orc? Is she half orcish or?
Just orcish, as far as I know.
My biological mother is orc, but my mother is an elf.
Oh.
She actually taught me everything that I know today. And so I took her last name, I guess you call it that.
What's your last name?
Toba.
Do I know that last name?
No,
Okay.
you would not.
I don't know. Okay.
No, it's just
It's not a noble.
in between training and whatnot, she would always tell me of her home and just how beautiful it was. I didn't want to assume if all else came from the same.
Yeah, that'd be racist, right?
Make a history check, Anuka.
Saying all elves look the same. Saying we're all related.
That is 17.
I mean, honestly, in Krintovi, high elves mostly do come from there or the Empire, which is to the north on the mainland, north of Venevra directly, is the Empire. And Venevra was settled by mostly humans and high elves by the Empire.
Where are we right now? Are we
Just
in our room?
in the place, I'm assuming, the Resistenza base.
okay.
In the bar. We're having breakfast. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you're having breakfast. I'm gone.
Yeah, Win
I'll
left to
bring
go
my beer.
see a god.
So when
Asla
I
does.
when I heard of what this king is doing against elven kind. I want to. Well, first, two things. I want to make Rijas just proud, and I also want to do by my mother for raising me and bringing me in from the Beastlands. So,
I miss it a lot. I left kind of before all this started. I can't imagine what it's done. I need to go back.
as you should.
You can come with me. I'm gonna say that in Orcish because I speak Orcish.
Yep. So you hear Orcish with an interesting accent.
And in Elvish, I'm going to say, I would love to come. I'm pretty sure Rijas doesn't have a big presence there.
No, I think. Do I know? He doesn't. He does. I assume.
Make a religion check.
Yeah, religion.
I roll suck today. What is that? It's an 8. What you said, religion?
Yeah.
Do you need to buy
10.
them?
Based on your knowledge, you weren't super privy to a lot of what was going on.
Thanks.
Mostly, they worship that one goddess who I forget the name of.
I worship. Hang on, wait. I have it written down here. Phaelini.
Yeah, Phaelini. Yeah.
Phaelini.
Is who most people, where you're from at least, worship. All right, so if that's it for until skipping till 3,
Yes.
easiest thing to do.
Does
So
anyone
it's
know
gonna
if
smell
there
from over here for a little while.
what skill challenge they're interested in?
Well, the first ones are strength and dexterity, right?
I am pretty strong.
But so is Gwyn, right? Who has stronger constitution? You or
Nala.
well,
Who
okay.
doesn't drink?
Okay, wait. So we've got
Plus 15. plus
strength
5.
challenge, which is pushing a rock today. And
I have plus 4 to my strength.
I do too.
what's your base?
18.
Well, they're 18, yeah, both of them.
Okay. Well, but then the second, then who has stronger constitution? Because
Mine
whoever.
is 15, so plus 2.
What's your saving throw?
Constitution plus 4.
I'm plus 5.
But there's also a wisdom
I'm plus 7.
and an intelligence quiz.
I'm not particularly smart.
Same.
Well, I know what I'm
I'm not.
doing, and we know what Lily
Very
is
wise.
doing. So it's between the rest of you guys. Well, you guys got to figure out the
I'm
intelligence
taking
or wisdom, unless you're particularly smart.
Tied on both.
I'm 18 at wisdom.
I think you. Okay, so then what if Nala does the intelligence quiz?
I'm only 12 on intelligence.
Whereas my
But
highest
how
modifiers are
smart
strength,
is Lilia?
Constitution, and
Lilia.
charisma.
Lilia should do charisma.
Oh,
She's gotta do the
performance.
charisma, yeah.
doing
Because she's last. She's got to do
performance.
charisma.
Doing performance.
I would say my intelligence is only. I
Not
mean,
the
You guys can only do
What
one.
what is your wisdom?
I am same 12, so
You're-
plus 1.
You're 12 for both wisdom
Yeah.
and.
What about
Intelligence.
intelligence?
12.
Okay, because I have 14 and 18, but.
How good are you as a test taker is the real thing.
My
Did you just ace those Scantrons?
I mean, I was a prodigy,
You-
but I mean, it
I
was in
did.
a monastery, so who knows what the
I
testing
also
is.
studied at a sorcerer's sanctum, but
I mean, based on all this, so Win and Anuka have the same strength.
But who has the higher constitution?
Nala.
Nala does. Char obviously Dex.
teach Nala
Lily
how to
obviously
drink
charisma.
take water and
Well,
Practice.
who's smarter? You or Win?
Both of you have plus 2.
What's with the base of what?
14.
Sorry, Win has plus 2,
With a base of 14.
and
two
Anuka has
intelligence.
plus 0. So technically, Win's smarter.
So Win should do the intelligence and you do strength? Is that what we're going with?
Based off of
Hang
factor
on.
crap,
Hang
we
on.
can do that.
That's technically true. Yes, based on Win. All right. So as you're deciding this, as you're walking up to the gate, you do see now there are a couple guards stationed on the outside of the entrance for the participants of the tournament. They are standing there and waiting for more of the people who are taking part in the...
Psyching yourself out.
Oh, I see. It's like waving with headphones. I just okay.
Oh my
but yeah, so
It's got like
they're,
a letter jacket.
they're waiting for people to come up and present their writs and go inside. And there is also a steady stream of people going in the visitor entrance, the viewing entrance, which is currently, both of those are flanking the tent that you signed up in. There are two entrances. The one on the right is where you guys are supposed to go in.
Okay.
So you head up there, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And the guards go, halt. Are you participants in this tournament?
We.
The Bone Era. Excellent. Hey, Ben. And they get Ben, who is this sort of... It's literally a kid, like he's 13. Say, oh, thanks. Takes the writ and looks, right this way. I'll show you to your quarters and where you're all going to be eating, and you can meet all the other teams. Tonight is the big opening ceremony, so you'll want to be there for that. Everybody gets introduced. You'll have to come up with like a team leader, because the team leader plus your team is introduced to the crowd, and then you all wave, and it's all very exciting. Anyway, follow me.
Mm-hmm. Does that mean it's me?
It can still be little.
So you follow Ben, who leads you down this path. And I want everybody to make a perception check for me.
Okay.
As you end
See
up
if you
in
know
the
what your
main part of the square.
It's just you today.
Oh my
I
god.
don't know what it is. I'm
I'm gonna
sorry.
drink. Oh my god. Was that, what did you say,
Ooh.
investigation?
Perception.
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 Okay.
14.
Actually, Anuka, you're out of this because you're looking
21.
for 21.
14.
Okay.
19.
12.
Okay, that's good enough. Wynn, you notice in the area that you're being walked into, which is this massive grounds, they've cleared out like the whole center square of Arkala, which, as you recall from previous things, it's like Trafalgar Square in London. It's just this massive square, and they've cleared out a whole section. And along the edges of where it seems like they've set up all these massive tents for each of the teams. So yeah, you see a bunch of tents, and in the center you see this big table set up, like a place where a feast might be able to be had. And then along the edges, on the background, behind the tents, you see multiple robed individuals walking back and forth, including Nigel.
Oh.
Wait. Along the wall?
But there is no wall. They're just walking along a seeming perimeter, along the edge of the... From what you can see, that they're just robed individuals walking along a perimeter of where the tournament entrants are staying.
Interesting.
And Ben leads you on. All right, Bone Era.
Wait. Ben, what are they doing?
Well, from what I gather, it's because the king decided that nobody could leave the tournament grounds. Long may it rain. So they're there to keep people in.
Are they casting a spell to keep us in?
I'm not really sure. All my job is running back and forth,
Right.
Guiding people to their place. Yes?
We're not doing anything really today, so I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
On the fly.
You cast Detect Magic. That's fine. Magic has been done. Interestingly, you notice something glowing from Char's bag.
Interesting.
I need to take another look at this letter.
And as you get closer, as Ben leads you, he's like, all right, this one's yours. And you see this massive tent made of like nice leathers and stuff as the walls. And you're shown inside. And there's like a center sort of table-y area for you guys. It's like the tent in Harry Potter #4 where they go in and it's like a whole fucking house.
Holy shit, awesome.
Except that it's actually as big on the outside as it is on the inside.
Sure.
It's a big tent for you guys, and there are separate flaps that
Just the five of
designate
us?
rooms.
Six.
Six of you.
6.
Wow, this is intense.
Like camping.
Leave.
Yes, Ben. Thank you very much.
All right. So
it
yes.
is a tent.
I'll hold on to this writ. You guys should be fine for everything. Do take a look around. It seems like they're going to be serving sort of a luncheon for all the people who are taking part, and I'm sure there's a bunch of teams you can go meet. And other than that, the awards, or not the awards ceremony, that's way later.
We won.
The opening ceremonies start at 7-ish, so you've got a few hours to meet with people and eat. But yes, do be sure, don't leave the tournament grounds. I've been told to instruct everybody of that. Anyway, I'm going to go see if any more teams are here. Have fun, and good luck.
Question.
Huh?
Are there any places of worship in the grounds, or is that all outside?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, it's all that
No religion.
You guys have just these tents, and then the actual feasty area where it's like sort of a communal area you can hang out and get fed. There's always going to be food there, and you can go all the way into the stadium, and that's basically what tournament entrants have. There's sort of a schedule for you guys. You guys will be carted around, and that's something I should let you know. On the side of the stadium itself is a huge running score total, and it also has the schedule. And on the other side, on the witnessing side, the people who are here just to see the tournament, they've got a similar board that constantly updates of what's going on.
Standings. Nice.
Yes. And obviously at the end of each day there's like a running total, but since the battles count for so much, it really doesn't matter until the end, until everybody's had their battle, because that's half your points.
So it's like 15 points per skill challenge and then 30 points for the total.
30 points, it's depending on how many people you have in your team, it's a maximum of some amount adding up to 30. So 6 times. For you guys, it's 5 points per skill challenge.
Okay.
If you
5 points per skill challenge.
For you guys, yeah, because if you were in it with 5 people, it would be 6 points per skill challenge, and if you were in it with 4 people, which apparently you wouldn't know,
There's a team.
it would be 7 points, and you miss out on 3 points automatically.
Okay. Got it.
Is how I designed it.
Okay.
But yes, anyway, I'm gonna go. Have fun, good luck.
Where happened to my skill?
And Ben takes off back running. So you have this nice tent, and you look around, and you've each got a room if you want it, with a bed in it, and the table in the center with some chairs, but that's basically all that's in this tent.
Does Kieran tell me?
I'm
Tell
gonna
me
pull
you
her
see.
aside
Okay.
and start with. I know we have separate rooms, but if you don't mind, I'm gonna put my stuff in your room because I feel weird not sleeping in someone else's room now.
Oh,
Plus, you've been sad, so I want to just be around.
thanks. Are you telling me?
But yeah, when I was looking at the perimeter earlier, I couldn't help but notice.
I'll get to that in a second. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That there was something magic in your bag that perhaps is new. 'Cause it wasn't there last time.
Is the letter
checked
glowing or
magic.
something? Can I take it out?
You don't see it's glowing, but your spell's still up, and
Right.
yeah, it's the letter, and it's specifically one lower left-hand corner. Could you please bring out the letter for me? I did prop work. All right, let's see if it still works, because I don't know if it dried and failed.
Oh
and
my god,
broke.
is this like an invisible ink thing?
Is indeed.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
you
Oh
go.
my god, wait.
Take the thing.
Wow, we're fancy.
So you do have a secret message on the lower left-hand corner of that letter. It says,
Find
Kieran reads it.
Silric?
Only you wouldn't read it unless you allow Kieran to look at the letter. Kieran, you notice as she sort of takes it out, it's in the lower left-hand corner.
Okay.
So I don't see it?
You wouldn't see it because you're not casting the spell.
Okay.
But
Well,
what?
Do you mind if I read the letter? Or do you just want me to read the magic part? I'm asking. I'm a respectful gent. I won't read the rest of it.
Just tell me what it says first.
It says, find Silric.
Who?
Find Silver.
Do I know who that is?
Make a
Good lord.
history check.
My dice suck today.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
History?
Yep.
14.
Silric was. I'm gonna text it to you.
Was? Is he dead? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Secrets.
Character
things.
things.
I'm ready.
Did anyone else notice Nigel on the...
Oh, and that's the other thing. You noticed as soon as you got close to the border, there is a massive wall of energy. And
yeah.
Nigel is near your tent, actually. He's one of the ones close to you.
Leave
Um,
Lilia.
did anyone notice that Nigel was working around the perimeter out there?
Well, he's got to keep his cover like the rest of them.
Char, if you are feeling up to it, do you think you wouldn't mind sending a message to him via your cantrip
Oh, shit.
saying that we're here?
I mean, I can also talk to them.
But you don't
Can
have
he
to
talk
use a
back to
spell.
yours?
Yes, for me, he can send a message back.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, all message
There's-
spells allow you to include
There's
message and
also a
sending, both let you
character.
talk back.
Well, because I don't anticipate I'll need all my spell slots.
Yeah, that's the thing. Hers is a character, so.
Well, I mean, I could do it. It's just a cantrip.
Okay.
Okay. We shoot off a little message. Say,
Okay, you duck your head out, look towards him.
say, it's Char. Are you okay?
And you hear back, tournament entrants are not allowed to leave the bounds. Please head back to the tournament grounds.
Okay.
Guys, okay.
He's deep into cover.
Guys,
He can't help us.
are you sure he's not hypnotized? I'm gonna shoot back. I like your shirt. Where did you get it?
Tournament entrants are not allowed to leave the grounds. Please head back to the tournament grounds.
I don't trust
Yep.
it. Nigel's been brainwashed.
Or he can't help us.
It's like, or someone will notice if he's talking to people.
Yeah.
But it's message. They reply silently.
They're talking.
They talk,
Oh.
but, I mean, make an insight check.
Stupid ass dice. 2! Jesus Christ! I give up.
It's hard to tell whether
Stop
it's weird.
rolling. Stop rolling.
Yeah, well, Cameron's making me roll. So I'm
You're
trying
asking
to do
pertinent
stuff.
questions.
I'm trying to do stuff, and it's not working. Okay.
So he's not
Oh, well.
giving any information. Oh, well, indeed. Is anyone, feeling hungry?
Yeah.
Free food.
So
Might as well.
this guy you're talking to, he's the leader of this movement?
No,
Not
he's just...
He's
He's part of it and a good friend. I'm worried something's happened to him.
I wouldn't call him a friend.
You don't have any
More like
friends,
a
Lynn.
colleague.
Specifically doesn't like Lilia.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's
Lilia doesn't
To be
wish
fair,
it.
it's her fault.
It is.
It is her fault.
What was that?
That was a wonderful
yeah, perfect.
English accent.
All right, so if you want to head back out to the
Yeah.
area, you see Nigel just pacing back and forth like this.
Can we get a good look at his face?
Yeah, make a perception check.
I'll do
Someone
it.
else do
I'll,
it?
I'll do it. I'll
You're
do
all
it.
looking at him. Someone make a perception check.
3.
I'm not even-
Wow, you're really rolling badly today. What?
20.
Okay, that's good enough.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see if we get in his line of sight and make eye contact with him, will he look back and just look like he has to be undercover doing his job, or does he look like he is
So,
deadpan, glazed over?
Kieran, you can see this as you sort of get over. He's staring forward, turns around blankly, stares forward as he marches back and forth.
Told you. Does anyone have any sort of spells that can tell if someone's...
I can do it in the morning.
Yeah, your detect magic would have worn off by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, but she cast that already, looking at him.
You,
I was saying more.
if you were close enough to see he was like 40 feet away from you guys, but you saw the barrier outside of your tent, so you wouldn't have been close enough to see if there was anything.
Okay. Also, to break any sort of spell that's on him, I would have to touch him, which would be obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
And I
have.
would need to go to
Yeah.
Do you?
What is up with you
Would
today?
have.
I don't know when I
Walked
He's the
dated.
one that
around,
worked for Lucia
um,
last time.
I am keeping an eye out to see if not only can I see
Right.
any
I
of
don't
the
wanna do my
Dragonborn
skill check.
that may have been in the cathedral, but
Very
more
keen.
specifically
That's better.
for a golden dragon that I saw. From
All right.
earlier.
So as you guys
I
sort
use
of
Lilia's dice.
look at, hey, Vinny.
Dude, I can't do my skills challenge today. I'm gonna die.
Get all your bad rolls out.
You
in
head out
trouble.
to the area where all the food is. Everyone, all right.
Sorry.
Head out to the area where all the food is, and it's just it
It's
happens
just you.
sometimes.
I'm sorry.
I'm upset.
And you look around, and what you see currently is getting out my document. There is there's like basically a craft services table on the far end of these things, and lots of these tables
That's how you know it's good.
in the center of this square, just set up with lots of chairs and lots of places for people to sit. And you see that people have made sort of cliques. They're sitting with their groups. And the people who are here right now, you see the group of halflings that you had seen before, Thunthorpe Thrippy and his group.
Cows.
They're sitting, and all of them are eating like turkey legs that are way too big because they're halflings, and enjoying themselves greatly, and laughing, and some of them begin to sing, and it's very Lord of the Rings. And you see a group of monstrous races, specifically hobgoblin, a couple orcs, a goblin, and an ogre, who sort of looms behind this entire group of them.
Cool.
And they're drinking and sort of staring at everyone else in a corner of this area.
I'm going to keep my eye on the goblin or any goblins I see.
You don't like goblins?
Oh my goblins! All right, you stare at the goblin. The goblin's like,
Do they look like Harry Potter goblins?
No, they're not a Jewish stereotype. So,
there.
Dropping that right there.
no, they look like D&D goblins, so long ears and the big teeth.
That's funny.
And it sort of stares back at you and goes, and shrugs, and what are you looking at?
What's your problem?
Turns back and
What's
sort
your
of
problem?
talks with their group. And the other group you see right now are indeed a group of Dragonborn. Currently sitting sort of in the center of the group of tables, there are 2 red Dragonborns, a woman and a man. There's a brass Dragonborn, and then there is that gold Dragonborn that you had seen previously in the temple of whatever you were looking at, Bahamut.
I would go to the spread of food.
Okay.
Get
It's a good
Any-
spread of
any
food.
meat, any
there's
meats?
there's lots of meats, there's lots of veggies, there's lots of everything. It seems like an excellent spread of what they could find, and like specifically like Arkala food. So there's also a lot of fish because it is a coastal city and there's lots of fish. They tried to apparently bring in like, this is the culture that you're visiting. Here is a spread of food from our culture, that sort of thing. So it's lots of fish and lots of veggies from the surrounding farms. But there are some beef and whatnot as well.
I would have filled my plate with as much meat.
Okay,
as I
pile it on.
And I would approach the table of the Dragonborn and I would ask if there is a space available for myself.
They all look at you. The other golden one looks around to his friends
This is the same golden board
from the
from the
temple,
temple.
looks at you and nods and waves his hand for you to sit, sort of across from him because he's surrounded by his group.
I'll sit.
Hello.
Good morning. I don't believe we met. I saw you the other day, but I don't believe I've seen you.
I'm not surprised by that. Gold Dragonborn, what's your name?
My name is Kim Batul Nala.
My name is Kimbatul Invir. You wouldn't recognize me, though. I left a long time ago. These are my friends, our group called the Force of Fire.
Cool.
Neat.
Nala's gonna
Yathinmar,
leave us.
Bone arrow.
Yathinmar Hana
They sound cooler.
is this female dragonborn. She takes off sort of a hat that fits around her horns.
Oh shit.
And then Yathinmar Orthan, and is this male dragonborn who salutes at you. And to Kimbatul and Veer's left was the brass dragonborn, and this is Ladlo Yago. It's a pleasure to see another dragonborn. I'm assuming you're competing, seeing as you too are trapped in here with all the rest of us.
Indeed, I am using this as an opportunity to prove my worth.
Prove your worth. Do you find that to be a necessary thing? In my upbringing, I always found I had to constantly prove my worth as well. Tiring.
That is true. Living in our family, there was always tests and challenges.
Yes. There's a reason I left all that nonsense.
Nonsense.
Of course. You realize our family is obsessed with this idea, this mythology that we've created around the becoming. You realize only one dragonborn ever has managed it. Only one in the history of Kimbatul has ever managed to fully become what they were set out to do. Everybody else goes through these challenges and ends up powerful, but disappointed. And I could not handle that. It was better to get away and meet my friends, travel around, adventure, continue beyond what I was told to do.
That may very well be true. I have heard many tell me that this is a somewhat fool's errand. But I do have a feeling that this is what I was meant to do, and I will not throw away the trading and the challenges.
Kimbatul and Veer puts his hands up. I do apologize. I didn't mean specific offense. There were a lot of things in my upbringing I did not enjoy. And I like my life now. So, from one Kimbatul to the next, I do actually wish you luck. I hear the challenges can become intense. And if you manage to be the second Kimbatul to manage the true becoming, well, I'll be impressed, to say the least.
How long have you been traveling outside Gathlanda with your troop?
Oh, 30 years.
30 years.
He's a middle-aged dragonborn.
You've been all over the world.
I've certainly traveled quite a ways, farther than many dragonborn care to.
But without the becoming, what drives you?
What drives me? The fact that this world is so interesting and fascinating and wonderful. What's not to love? All the terror is worth it as well.
I can agree with that. Always take the blessings with the terrors that you may have in your life. Weigh the scales against your challenges.
Was that a scales joke?
No.
Alright, never mind. Anyway, I do wish you luck. I'm looking forward to this competition. And as you're speaking, what are you guys doing? Finding a table?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Taking
staring at
advantage
the
of
other
everything.
dragonborn because I'm like,
Yeah, I think we were all watching Nala.
Yeah, alright.
What's she
I'm
doing?
standing there like,
Sit with us?
back.
these are the most dragonborn I've ever seen in my life, and I'm just like, oh, there's more of him.
Yep.
You've never
are
seen a
the,
dragonborn?
Wait,
Is that what you said?
are the Black Chateau group around?
Funny you say that.
Wow, imagine that.
So as
They are
soon
now.
as this conversation is going on, you do eventually
Okay.
feel like Nala's having a conversation, so you guys find another seat. And as you're all sitting there, this boisterous group that's clearly already wasted comes over.
That's my people.
And at the head, they're walking in a V, towards the group from the path to the stadium, and they're like, yes, fun, yeah. And one of them's literally like waving a tiny little Black Chateau flag, just like, and at the front. So the whole group consists of, at the front, you see this handsome, maybe 30-year-old half-elf with sort of short or medium-length lightish brown hair and these sort of piercing eyes and this constant smirk.
Is he maybe a captain? Not that
He's
one.
definitely not Ernesto.
I think I just have
But you can infer from the fact that there's the Black Chateau that he would be the leader of the group. Leader of the pack. And he is wearing a...
Men in charge.
He's wearing like a dark brown trousers and a jacket. And on his belt, on the right side, you see it's got like a handle on it, and it seems to be made of metal and has a long tubular structure that goes from the handle downwards and is in sort of a leather case on his belt.
Okay.
And on his left side, sort of crossways, is another one of these contraptions. None of you have ever seen anything like it. I'm describing a pistol.
Wait, who was a pistol? The guy from
guy in the
Black
front.
Chateau?
Yeah.
Pistol, you say?
He's also got a scimitar at his side, as well as on the same left side. It's very weighted down, but you can see this very ornate curved dagger that's like about 12 inches long and curves down. And behind him, he's flanked by a couple wood elves who look pretty similar, but not exactly the same. So dark skin, pointed ears, as long as Char's, but much darker skin. And they've both got long black hair. And behind them are two gnomes that flank the outside of the thing. And they're all wearing sort of dirty-ish sort of sailor's outfits, or just sort of thrown together mishmash of what they think looks cool. You can tell, like they're really trying.
Same.
And in the front, the one in the front says,
Good to know.
"Oi, hello everyone!
Done right now.
Are we getting this party started then? Oh, I see we've got a few more people. Welcome to this fucking tournament. This fucking tournament run by fucking Salvador the shitbag."
Who said this?
The guy at the front. The half-elf at the front with the
Holy
gun.
shit.
Jesus Christ.
I need more beer! And he
Oh
goes
my
and
God.
Me
gets
too.
some more beer as Wynn goes over. And let's take a break there as this group comes over. Hello everyone, it's Cameron here, the DM for Welcome to the Bone Era. Just want to say thank you all for listening to this podcast. We have a few episodes now, so things are really starting to heat up, especially with this tournament arc. I really think you're going to like it. I have just a few announcements to make here, announcements and shoutouts to make here in the center of this episode. First, I want to say to all of my Patreon supporters, thank you. And for anybody listening who wants to support the show financially and my company, Hellas Hand Productions financially, you can head over to patreon.com/Cameron Evesque Davis. Evesque is spelled Evesque, and you can find Hellas Hand Productions Patreon page. Also, shout out to my new Patreon supporter, someone I met at TeslaCon over the weekend, Tiffany Bellman. Thank you so much. Your support means the world. I also, of course, want to give out a shout out to Tabletop Audio, whose music and ambience I use for this show. Tabletopaudio.com. Really excellent stuff. One other thing, since we as players have gotten to 9 sessions, or 19 really total, but 9 recorded ones, and we finished the tournament arc, which is just sort of beginning now in the actual show, we're taking a little break because of a few events we're doing, as well as it just made sense in the storyline, and soon we're going to be recording a one-shot with Max, who plays Wynn, doing the DMing, so I get to play as a player. We're going to post that one-shot as a bonus episode sometime here soon, whenever I finish editing it, basically. Starting episode 9 and onwards, we actually all have lavalier mics, which is amazing for audio quality, but makes editing much, much slower, so I'll get around to that at some point and post that in an in-between week between episodes. on a Wednesday still, but not on the normal schedule. Finally, I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving because this is releasing on the 20th, and Thanksgiving is next week, and we won't have another episode until 2 weeks from now. So hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. Hope you get to hang out with either your family or your found family or your friends or whatever and eat a lot of food. But anyway, without further ado, let's get back into the game. All right, welcome back. So yes, this boisterous group of pirates, because the Black Chateau... Anuka, make a history check for me.
Sorry, I have a quick question. The guy who stood up and yelled, was he just doing that from the head of the group, or did he like go in front of a bunch of people? When you said that, it made it sound like he was addressing the entire...
13.
Sorry.
You don't know who the Black Chateau is. His group was walking from the path to the stadium. So you're currently in the square. There's sort of a path that goes to the
they're
stadium.
just walking and yelling.
And they were walking towards the big table place with the food, and he was walking and yelling.
Okay, cool.
And they eventually go and like sit down and go over to the large kegs that are set up next to the big table and pour more beer and clank them together. And, all right, let's drink more. And they go sit down and find a table. And this leader guy leans back and puts his feet up on one of the tables and leans back in two legs in one of the chairs and is down in beer.
All right. I'm gonna go grab a drink.
All right. So you head over and grab a drink while you're doing that.
Okay.
While you're doing that, more groups appear.
I guess I'm gonna chill with Lilia.
Okay.
Where are you?
I'll be
Cool.
Chilling.
Yeah.
Cool.
You guys have found a table. So if you're going to get a drink for a specific purpose, we'll get back to that in just a second.
We're people watching.
So as people come into this event from the gate, there are a few other teams that come in. One of them is a group of dwarves, specifically mountain dwarves or hill dwarves or whatever they're called in D&D. It's just they're all sort of heavily armored. They're all wearing they've got fabulous looking weapons and fabulous looking armor, and there are huge beards like all dwarves do, but you don't see many dwarves in Venebra, actually. So these people clearly are not from around here, and they come in and they sort of stoically look around, and the clear head, who's this really old dwarf, huge gray bushy beard, two braids that wrap down his head, but everything else in between is shaved. So two braids from the front and go back, and then braid themselves together down the back.
Interesting.
And he's wearing just like painted gold plate armor, like he's in World of Warcraft or something. He like
it's a very Final Fantasy kind of look.
yeah, and he's got this giant warhammer as well. That's huge for him as a dwarf. And he says something to a couple of them who wrap around and sort of look like they're gathering plates for everybody. And the dwarves find a table. Next is a group of dark elves who show up.
I speak all of these.
Looking particularly wary, because while dark elves are not uncommon, they are also in the sun right now and going
Undercommon.
You can tell they're not super comfortable being out in the open during the day here, as dark elves have a weakness to the sun.
Well, they have to roll disadvantage and everything?
Yeah, it's bad.
Damn. What are they doing here?
They seem to be representing something. They're holding a flag with a big M on it. Everybody make a history check.
Okay.
Just to see if I can even tell you the name.
Hey, the one time it doesn't fucking matter. 22.
Ooh, 16.
16.
I'm in conversation.
Oh, you're with them.
Yeah.
So most of you except Kieran know that this is the Dark Elf city that was to the northwest of Myrefall. That's like farther northwest of Buonlupo and everything, called Mikan Dorazdo. And they seem to be representing the Drow contingent of people here.
What was the city called?
Mikan Dorazdo. It's a drow name, so they're long and obnoxious.
Whatever.
In Forgotten Realms, it's Mesobaranzan. Yeah.
No, I got it.
So Mikan Dorazdo.
So fancy.
So they find a seat in as much of a shaded area as they possibly can, and then get food, and then sort of retire to their tent, clearly uncomfortable. Next is a familiar face, a middle-aged half-orc who you have seen before.
Jared!
Not that guy.
Oh, it's
Greatest
From
of
your
all.
first adventure.
wait.
Rome, Graxus, Rome.
Grigax,
Yeah,
Grigax
Grax Roman. Shit, man.
who seems to be leading a diverse group of people, and they are holding a flag of what many of you would know is Athelbury, which is the county on Oster where Esterosi is. So they are representing a portion of Distory. And Grigax Roman still in his like adorned Adventurers Guild silver armor, or silver colored armor, steel armor. And he's got a couple humans, an elf, a high elf, and a tiefling with him. And a tiefling, not many of you have seen any tieflings around, but they're around.
It's not the first mate from the...
It is not Elachian, no. This is just another one, a red-colored tiefling, and you don't recognize this person, this woman, actually.
Quick question. Does Lilia have, like, any sewing materials or any, like, fabric in her disguise kit?
The disguise kit would have things like
Makeup?
makeup
Shit.
and latex and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, we need a flag. We should make a Chompy flag. Just embroider Chompy onto a flag.
What can prestidigitize? Like,
You
that,
can-
Prestidigitation is clean
It's
stuff.
just, like, noises and shit.
Yeah, thaumaturgy is like noises and minor magics.
What do we have?
Prestidigitation is like
we
cleaning
should have gone to the
things.
I have
perfect
some of these
stitch.
very fine, very expensive
We
clothes.
totally should have gone to the perfect stitch.
Oh, well, we didn't know. And now we can't leave.
Next time.
So Grigax goes and
year,
sits down on the edge
Send a message.
in one of the tables off to the edge. So this place is filling up. Most of the tables are getting filled up now. And then last, I believe, yes, last is a group of another diverse group of people. They are holding a flag, though, that all of you would know except for Anuka is from the Empire.
Like the evil empire?
You don't know if it's evil, it's just the Empire.
This-
At its head is this very snively looking, pompous human with like greased back hair and this long, very finely made like silk robe. And he's gotten forward and talking, and he sends someone off and does this sort of shooing
an
motion. And yeah, even from this distance, you're like, this guy. And as he gets closer, you can start to hear his voice, and he sounds like, "Oh yes, I mean, what are you going to do about all those primitives from Venevra? But I guess we're here. Salvador really wanted us to compete in all of this, but it's all ridiculous." And he just sounds like an asshole. Even from this distance, this guy sounds like a douche. He has a tiefling next to him, a blue-skinned, or like dark blue-skinned
Oh, so
tiefling.
it's not all humans?
No. They also have a dragonborn, a silver one.
Do they all look like dicks?
Everybody. So
Feels
he
dickish,
was
man.
speaking with the tiefling, and everybody behind him, which includes the silver dragonborn, a woman, a male deep gnome, which is something that probably none of you have ever seen. They're like underdark gnomes, basically. So they live underground, and female high elf as well, but they're all sort of standing behind them, hands on weapons. Make an insight check if you want.
Because I've been doing that.
On
Doing
the
so
group.
many.
Have I seen that silver dragonborn at Bahamut's temple before?
Nope,
No.
they were not there.
I would have asked the group of dragonborn if they've seen that dragonborn.
And Kimbo Dillender says, "No, I've not seen that one before. Surprising to see so many of our kin, is it not?"
Yes, truly, but actually quite joyous for me.
What?
They were talking with Kimbatulundir. What'd you get?
11.
You can tell from that, like the front two seem to be chummy, and the back three don't.
Chummy with.
Each other.
Okay.
Like the obnoxious Englishman and the tiefling seem to be sort of chummy and talking back and forth, and the three behind them seem on edge and not super into the whole
So
thing.
that would be the high elf and the gnome and the dragonborn.
That's right.
Seems half dickish, man.
And at this point, as this group comes up, the pistol wielding pirate like jumps down from his legs up on the table and goes, "Oh my god! Is it really Hanthor Grunthype? Ridiculous! You couldn't last 2 seconds in a fucking fight." And the obnoxious looking man goes, "See what I mean? These people from this land, all of them are disgusting. Who even are you?" And the guy, the piratey guy goes, "Oh, you know perfectly well who I am. I think I took over one of your fucking shipments a little while ago, just last week. But don't attack me here. We've got camaraderie on our side, right? Friendly competition. Isn't that right? Isn't that right?"
I like him.
This guy's my hero.
Hanthor, apparently.
Hanthor Gunthrop?
Grunthite.
Grunfight.
It's the most disgusting name I could come up
I
with.
love it.
It sounds like Mr. Dursley, kind of.
Yeah. So Hanthor turns to you don't know his name, turns to the tiefling and says, "Ugh, could you go get me some wine? Let's sit as far away from that thing as we can." Turns away, and Grigax at this point has his hands in his fucking, his head in his hands, is like, "Look, can we all just get along for one fucking day?"
Who said that?
Grigax, Roman.
Oh, okay.
"Look, I know, Jack, you've got this thing for the Empire, and I know Hanthor's a bit of a dickweasel, but what are you gonna do? We're all here in this competition, and evidently we can't get out." And Jack's like, "Yeah, I mean, what about that? That's weird, isn't it? They didn't used to do that. Ooh, and I wonder if we can see any of our friends from Hondere." And does this big, like, obnoxious, like, obvious fake looking around, like, hands on the side of his head, and he looks around.
Where is everybody?
"It looks like they're not here. You know, they've been guests of honor every year except, 2 years ago, something fucking changed. How about that? Weird. I think it's weird, don't you, crew?" And they're all like, yeah, it's fucking weird.
Oh my god, I love this guy.
And Grigax is like, "Look, you gotta be...
I was like, yeah, where are the...
You gotta be more quiet about
treason
that. Yeah, you
hunters.
know that, right? You're gonna get killed." And Jack's like, "I'm not gonna get killed. Look, they need us here for this fucking tournament. I was invited. They want the Black Chateau represented for some reason. So I'm not gonna get killed. Though I guess if I leave and I die immediately, you know who did it. Please revenge me." And Grigax just shakes his head and goes back into his drink. And you notice now, Grigax is fully, like, last time you saw him, he wasn't as armed.
with the newspaper.
But now, yeah, he did have the newspaper and his reading glasses. Now he's, like, in battle mode. So he has a huge sword on his back, like Geralt of Rivia. And on his belt as well, he has a similar curved dagger to Jack. So as this goes on, more talking goes on between groups. People are talking in between them. Thunthorpe Thrippy comes over to Lilia and says, "Hey," and says, "Oh, well, it's good that you got in." And Lilia's like, "Oh, yes, of course. I mean, we were here for this, so that's what we're here for." And as the night goes on, festivities happen. People get more and more, like, steadily drunk. As is wonderful to happen. And then eventually, unless there's somebody you specifically want to talk to, we'll move on to the next thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Win.
I'm just getting my drink. I'm like, so good to be among friends.
To Jack?
No, like
Just in
just
general?
like thinking to myself, like, oh yeah, these are my people.
So Jack's over there. He's put his feet
smiling
back
a rare
up on the
smile.
table. And he's like, "Yeah, look at these motherfuckers. Thinking they're all uptight and weird, whatever.
All right, I'll go.
Downs
I'll
another
go
drink,
I'm gonna follow.
grabs
him.
another beer that he had also
I'm
gotten.
not going.
I'm going.
I'll go.
Wynn's
over there.
going, and Kieran's definitely going.
I'm living my gunslinger fantasy in my head right now.
I'll go
ready.
over there.
So as you walk over,
Set my drink down. Afternoon, gentlemen.
hi, hello. What's your name then?
Win.
Cheers, Win. And you clang glasses and it spills all over and he like shakes his hand.
Yeah.
Well, you here for the tournament then? This weird fucking thing we're all a part of?
Yeah, I guess so. Wasn't something I initially wanted to do, but you know, it's a fucking thing to do.
None of us want to be here, mate. The story's a piece of shit.
I'm starting to learn that.
Starting to. Did you only get here recently then?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on Oster for a couple of years.
Where are you from?
Actually, funny you should mention. I grew up in Ebroxton.
Ah, Bruxton, I know that place.
Yeah.
Yeah, we dock there lots of times. Mm-hmm. You gotta give up over some of your winnings or whatever.
Right.
But the Queen, she's nice. She gets things done. I like that about her. She's a little better at that than the previous one.
How long has she been around?
Whoa,
I don't know, Abby.
6 months, something like that.
Alright.
Not very long, really.
And she's good?
Oh yeah. I mean, the last one had this whole thing about, like, I got my code, like, very specific code.
Yeah.
I don't like attacking people who don't deserve to be attacked. And the last guy, though, made that a rule for everyone, and it just wasn't a thing. So this time, we're all allowed to follow our own sort of thing and do it however we like, as long as we turn in some of it to the chateau at the end of it. And he pulls down his collar and he's got a big tattoo of the Black Chateau symbol. Yeah. We're all branded. You branded?
No, I haven't been home in quite a while.
Oh, I guess that'll do it. I guess this was only started becoming a thing a year ago. You're looking forward to the tournament then?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking for a chance to practice my stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But just how are things back home? I mean, it's been a while.
Things back home are great.
As they are.
You know what you can do back home? Stay away from dumbass wars.
Yeah.
And we all treat each other fairly there. There's a sort of air in this dumb city that, you know, everybody's sort of on edge. Everybody's terrified of something. I hear it's because people keep getting taken away.
I've noticed that. Yeah.
Well, I'm not afraid of that shit. We're not afraid of a lot on the Bruxton or in Penshard, are we?
No.
As we shouldn't. It's
Anything-
because it's a constant level of fear. Because you can't trust anyone.
Right.
And he takes out his gun and like flips it around. So you got to be on target.
No,
I'm just
know what
gazing.
I know how that is.
Who are you? Turns to Kieran.
I'm already getting bad at this.
No,
It's not even time for real flirting
God.
yet. Kieran.
Yeah.
Kieran the Wounded.
We've been traveling together
Claire.
for.
Kieran the Wounded, that's some sort of joke name, isn't it?
It's like, you want to fight?
Not where I'm from.
Sure. Where are you from then?
Scorch Pass.
Ooh, that's a long way from home. Not as long as me, I suppose, but we got a ship. We can go all the way around. What's the desert like these days?
A little dry.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Deserty?
A little deserty.
Sure.
No boats there.
No, it's not really my kind of place. I was there once. Sometime. I don't remember why. I must have gotten blackout drunk and gotten on a cart that led me all the way there. Sucked getting back to the ocean.
White blackout.
Oh, I don't remember that month.
Did you see anything you liked while you were there? I
Nah.
feel like that's most people's answer.
I mean, it's a sort of quiet town, isn't it?
Tumbleweeds.
Lots of them. Did you see that weirdo with the fucking greasy hair?
Yes.
Stay away from him. He's mine. Probably not during the tournament, though, you know. But he deserves to die. For many reasons.
Noted.
Noted.
Yeah, I've got a pal in that, don't I? Grigax! 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 And Grigax finally, looks up. What do you want, Jack? Don't you wait on Thorgrunthip as much as me?
Is he still here?
Yeah.
Or is he still in the
He's over. If you you look way on the other end of this sort of weird cafeteria-y place, and he's drinking from a champagne flute of red wine. So he's just wrong.
Yeah.
And sipping and quietly speaking, looking around, and he sort of rolls his eyes in a big way from all the way across when he hears his name being yelled around. And Grigax goes, I keep my personal business to myself, like you should do, Jack. I don't give a shit what your fucking gripes about anyone are. Just shut the fuck up and enjoy the tournament, will ya? And Jack's like, yeah, this is why it happened, you know, right? You just let it happen. And Grigax is clearly looking mad
Yeah.
at this. He gets quiet for a second. Jack, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And Jack's like, oh, but I do. Nope, that's Southern.
Sorry, that's me.
Oh, but I do. I know a lot. I'm sorry about what happened. But you need to have some balls, man.
Ooh.
Anyway,
Right.
Grigax isn't going to pay attention to me. He's not going to do anything about this shit.
It's fair, you didn't pay much attention to us either.
Well, oh, you know him, do you?
Kind of brought us together. A little.
Oh, you literally
Squad.
just like an adventurers guild group thing.
More or less.
We're not representing shit.
Well, that's interesting. A lot of times people here represent certain places. For me, it's Black Chateau. Yeah, for me, it's the Black Chateau. There's Gothlando sort of over there, though I hear most of them are exiles. There's the Empire, and he does the two-finger fuck off
She's done
thing
for
from England at them, yeah, see some dark elves. It's a good turnout. Ooh, and halflings, they're always fun. Gotta get drunk with them later. Everybody in the Hearthmire's excellent. If you ever get a chance to go over there, straight east from Venebra, dodge past all the pirates, you'll have a good time doing that.
I'm sure.
And you can get all the way to Hearthmire. It's excellent. Just amazing place. Fucking food, drink.
Sounds
Fun
like
people.
fun.
So did the chateau send you?
More or less, yeah. We were invited to represent the chateau, which was weird.
Does that happen often?
No. It was weird. It was especially weird because even though I've taken part in this a couple of times before, back when Andere was a big part of it, we always got along with those high elves. And the gnomes, they're fun too. They've got magics you've never seen. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. But specifically this year they invited us, and so I knew something must have been up. Something weird. So I had to come see, Piqued my curiosity.
I think they're going to try and kill us all.
So
I'm serious.
They're
They're going to burn down the freaking camp.
Hang on.
So us of the Open Sails, which is our team name,
Open
and also
sails.
my ship. It's a boring name.
is it a big ship?
Roll a persuasion.
What are you implying?
Well, we came over on a ship, so it was, I
Was it big?
don't know much about ships, but I do what I
Sure.
can.
It's a medium-sized ship. I'm humble.
Naturally.
You can't say you're more than what you got.
I
Yeah.
assume.
It's an average.
Anybody who
size
says
ship.
their ship is huge is lying and overcompensating.
But you know how to maneuver it well,
Obviously,
I would imagine.
I'm a pirate.
I'm a cowboy.
Okay.
Good fucking lord.
Yeah. So
I kind of give Kieran a look
Is Jack blushing?
nah.
Sorry, getting back to something you brought up.
Yeah.
I've heard interesting stories
Karen
about
struck
this new
He always
queen.
does.
Like,
Except
how
that one
how did she come about?
Ah, well, she specifically was in the right place at the right time. Got on really
She's
well.
good at that.
Got on really well with the last king. He was like, "You should take over if I die." Died 20 minutes later.
Huh.
She's pretty young, but she's great.
Interesting.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah, we're a fan. Not sure if she's on Penchard right now, but whatever. Sure, she's off
What-
doing cool things.
Where would she be then?
I don't know. She's got her own missions. Like, she left months ago, though.
The plot thickens.
Yeah.
And didn't happen to mention where she was heading?
Oh, I just got back and they were like, "She's gone," and I was like, "Well, here's my gold." And then I went and got drunk.
Alright, well. You hear anything about her? Just
Sure.
let me
Win,
know.
right?
Yeah.
Penchard win. Big beard. Black eye.
That one.
Have a drink.
Will do.
Good luck in the tournament.
And
I think this opening ceremony thing's gonna start soon.
Alright.
Gotta get good and wasted for that.
To your health, good sir.
What's left of it?
Oh my god. Amazing.
So that happened.
We wanted to talk to the dwarves.
The dwarves. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go find who they
I'm
are.
gonna first tell Shar.
I saw it. I was like,
Sorry, man. Just
Well, you didn't have your wingman here.
yeah, I'm the wingman.
Yes, if anybody takes your flirting completely, like, literally, yeah, my ship's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
I mean,
kind
it's
of.
a
Oh
ship.
my god.
It's enough for us.
I'm just gonna be like, Kieran.
I'm gonna say it's fine. It was boring anyway. He probably has a tiny dick.
No, it's medium size.
Get him a lot drunker first.
We talked about
Oh
Oh my
my
god,
God.
that's how they get away with it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
So who's going to speak with the dwarves?
We are.
Now that
We
you
both
struck
struck
out.
Dwarvish.
Okay.
I
So
can see
Shar waits for a while for them to get back.
I was watching Kieran like,
Too much, man.
He's
Too much.
gonna go for it. No.
Stop it.
take like 20 to 30% off of there.
Yeah. Take about 5% off there.
It
Scroll
works
it
a lot better
down.
when you're stranded on the boat. You don't have anyone else to talk to.
Because of the implication.
So as you walk over to the dwarves, who are closer to the civilian entrance, and lots of people are going in. Well, right now they're streaming in to the stadium now, and they're all like looking in on you. And what you can see now, that same sort of wall you saw, people have discovered it violently multiple times now because all around the entire area they like see no fences and they're like going to walk over to the people who are taking part and they go and go ow, and like a few kids walk into this giant like invisible wall there.
Wait.
Like the birds under the dome.
So there's no fences
Yeah.
around this area.
Yeah. But there's this
just
invisible thing.
There's invisible walls guiding people through directions and
Okay.
and like other wizards doing this completely blankly and just pointing people in the direction. But yeah, and Kieran, make a perception check for me.
22.
Okay.
Nice.
So as you're walking over to the dwarves who are on that side of the thing, you do see a familiar looking captain walking into the tournament area.
Shut.
And he's talking with a familiar looking tiefling who's
Right after.
who's next
all
to
of that.
next to him. And they make their way in. They're like clearly focusing on getting to the tournament grounds.
Can I use sending?
Sending? Okay.
Ooh.
Is that instantaneous?
Could be.
I think it
It would
is.
be nice if I knew how my
I
spells
think it
work.
takes a round.
Wait,
so-
what direction?
He's like in front of you as you're walking because you're headed over to the dwarves.
Yeah, it says 1 round.
1 round. So 6 seconds, so yeah. As you're walking.
Oh my
So
god.
he can see me.
He's paying attention. He's talking with Alakian and they're clearly heading forward.
So if I sent him a message that just said like "Psst, look to your whatever direction.
Okay, like look around, turn around.
Yeah. At your 6 o'clock or
And
something.
he hears a voice. Make a persuasion check.
Oh my
Because
god.
he just hears a voice in his head.
no.
It's like, what the fuck?
Oh, my persuasion's +0.
What'd you roll? 6? So he's like, you can see him like stop for a second and he's like grabs the lock-in. Goes, looks around. Alright. And then it's like, alright, I think it's gone. And
Alright,
keeps
what?
walking.
I have 3rd level spell slots to spare. Send it again.
He's like,
No, I'm gonna change the word.
okay. I was like,
25 words.
oh yeah, you do.
I'm gonna say, Psst, howdy, it's Kieran. Look behind you.
Oh, and he goes, and turns
And I
around,
just tip my hat.
and he waves, and goes, hey, it's good to see you. You in the thing?
Yeah,
Awesome. Good luck.
double finger gun.
Meet you later.
Yeah.
And then walks
Is he
away
on the
sort of
civilian
awkwardly.
side, or is he
He's on the civilian side.
Oh, okay. So they're spectating, not
Yeah, you gotta put on
participating.
a good show for him.
And he's giving me my wisdom.
Holy shit.
For backstory,
My wife is dead.
and
Most important.
Kieran
Take a shot
definitely
every
hooked up,
time Kieran
hooked
says
up
his
with
wife is
a
dead.
captain named Ernesto Strada on a ship
Alright.
from Oster to Infar when they were traveling down
For some
from the
reason,
north.
he picked up what I put down.
And Alaki and Char played some dice game, and
Yes.
Char won like 30 silver.
You're walking over to the dwarves still.
Yes.
Yep.
So you walk over to the dwarves. We'll get
Dwarves.
you in a second, Nala. And I keep having to open. I've got 3 documents named the tournament blank. So this was my own fault for naming shit badly. Anyway, so the tournament blank, I've got it. So you walk over and you see a group of dwarves, all of them bearded. One of them particularly old and in gleaming World of Warcraft armor.
Yeah. Dwarvish. I'm gonna say, howdy. gentlemen.
Does Dwarvish have a word for howdy?
I don't know, DM. Does Dwarvish have a word for
Make
howdy?
an intelligence check.
I like to think I'd look it up.
Wait, can I assist with that because I also speak Dwarvish?
Sure.
Okay, you get advantage on this check.
Beautiful.
Yes. Make a Dwarvish howdy check.
Just one better. 10.
You don't know the colloquialisms of Dwarvish,
Oh.
unfortunately,
Well, I was
especially
gonna
in
say-
your monastery upbringing. You learned Dwarvish, like,
From
you
a
know,
book.
yeah, from a book.
Okay. Well,
You say,
I'll say howdy.
hello.
and
In
then-
common.
Oh, just howdy in common.
Yes, and
They
then
look over,
gentlemen
In
in
Dwarvish.
Dwarvish.
and the one says, oh yeah,
In Dwarvish or not?
hello, in Dwarvish.
Okay.
What can I do for you?
Don't see many dwarves around these parts.
Yeah,
You guys just here for the tournament?
you wonder why. This place isn't really built for short ones, is it? Surprised those halflings are getting along. Oh, yeah. We're here for the tournament. Apparently he's estuary too. I was trying Irish, but not anymore. So,
Were you invited here or did you volunteer?
interestingly, yeah, we were invited. Who told you that?
They were invited too.
Seems like a...
I point
Quite a
to the
few
Black
groups have been
Chateau group
invited.
who is very rowdy in the corner.
They were invited? Weird.
That's what I said.
Huh.
We just
And they were
volunteered and I'm
invited.
starting to think that was a
And
bad
white people.
idea.
Well, between you and me, I think being into stories is a bad idea. But you gotta keep that under your hat.
It's a 10-4, good buddy.
Texas says 10 But that's weird. It's starting to be weird.
Are you... Sorry, just out of curiosity, do you represent a large portion of your kind? Are you any sort of... Because he is like a big deal among the Black Chateau.
I specifically represent Northern Empire dwarves, yeah. That's our flag.
Does it seem odd to you that leaders of many different factions were invited here?
That does seem strange now that I think of it. I didn't know anyone other than us was invited specifically. What do you think? And he turns to like one of the other dwarves. This woman sitting next to him who's like clearly wasted. I don't fucking know. Good talk. Turns back to you guys.
I think we should keep an ear to the ground.
Yeah, what's your name?
I'm Shar.
And you?
Kieran the Wounded.
Sure. That makes sense.
We're gonna keep asking around. It seems most people have invited here. I already think there's some sort of...
Do you see those fucking wizards?
The
walking back and forth.
Oh, those guys, yeah.
That's weird, right? They didn't do this in years past.
They didn't... Have you been to the tournament before?
A few times now, yeah. They do it every
And you were
year.
never invited before this year?
No, I had come with a group. Never invited to represent.
Would you have come regardless of if you were invited or not?
Probably, but this
Yeah.
year specifically we got an invitation
From...
Salvador the Story himself.
Great. Long may he reign.
Sure. We tried to get past those walls, by the way. The wizards attacked us. Didn't let us out.
I'm not sure they know what they're doing.
Really?
I think they are...
When we've looked at the wizards, are they blinking?
Not much.
You study it because you study...
Yeah, you got a 22 on that roll.
Yeah.
on
So they're not really,
Nigel.
They're not blinking much, no, if at all. They are weird looking.
There's something going on here.
I agree. I'll keep my ear to the ground. Who do you represent?
We don't represent anybody.
We represent the Bone Era.
The Bone Era. I like it. Alright, if I find anything else out, you can talk to Uthgar Matro.
Uthgar Matro.
Name.
Random
So
name
many
generators are
names
the fucking
today.
best. Uthgar, yeah, Uthgar. And Matro, Matro. Yeah, come see me. We're in that tent over there. You find it.
Yes. Can I roll an insight check and see if I trust him?
Sure.
Okay, I think I trust him. But... oh, great. It's a 2
Rolling really well.
plus 4. Great.
Since I'm
He's my
also
best
there,
friend.
Can I?
It's tough to read. Yeah.
Since I'm also there.
Sure, go ahead. Actually,
I guess she
Yeah,
should have
she-
just given me
Oh,
advantage.
I can just help.
actually, you don't have to. You can either both roll or
Okay,
one gets
well,
advantage.
You roll,
So, Kieran,
you
what'd you
roll
roll?
2.
Oh, well, I didn't roll any better, so.
Okay.
Well, I guess my insight is +7, so
Oh.
10.
Sort of tough to read, but seems
Based on our DM.
based on what you can tell. Yeah, based on my acting is what you get.
Yeah.
Right.
Seems legit to me. Alright.
As the days progressed, I assume everyone's drinking. With the Gathalothians, I would have.
Gatlothians, I like that. I'll write that down.
I would have tried to
dragon
exchange stories with them, what their journeys and adventures,
Sure.
at the same time trying to refill their drinks, see if I can possibly passively get them a little drunk and a little
Sure.
looser.
They accept drinks
Yeah.
readily.
And I will ask the group in Draconic if they've heard any tales about any of our dragonkin being captured and held within the area.
And it's mostly. It seems like the other ones are sort of worried about being here.
Yeah. Do any of the other ones have tails, or is it just the golden one? Because Dragonborns
All
have
of them have
tails. Dragonborns have tails if they're sorcerers usually, but if they all have tails.
Depends on the world.
Okay.
All of them have tails
Okay.
in this particular group.
Cool.
Just don't forget that I have hair.
Like in Matt Mercer's world,
That's
it
right.
was a specific group of Dragonborn that were tailless, and a certain group that was tailful.
Okay.
So as in my world, similarly,
not
except there's no distinct separation between who has tails and who doesn't. It seems really random based on your draconic family.
Okay.
So it's passed down as a trait. So these are all tailed dragonborns. But specifically, Kimbatul and Vir seems to be talking. Yathanmar, both the Yavanmars are sort of whispering to each other and looking around. Curious. And Lavlo Yago, the brass one, has walked away and started talking with the dark elves. Seemingly, I guess, interested in them.
I thought
and
they left.
they
The
did.
group of dark elves? Yeah, I thought they went back to
but
the
as
tent.
it starts getting darker, a few of them came out.
Oh, okay.
improv.
Days progress.
We're paying attention. Be proud of
Yeah,
us.
you are. Yeah, that's good. But Kimbatul Invir says, captured. The only gold dragon I know is the one I mentioned earlier. And he fucked off somewhere. After he managed what he was trying to do and created the mythology, he went somewhere. I think he was founding a magic school or something somewhere.
I would have told him about my vision that I had
Sure.
the past few days.
That is, you know, in all my years trying to do the becoming, I never had anything quite as powerful. If anything were to bring back my love of my country, you figuring that out would be wonderful. To your dream, though, what if it is the one?
The one?
That's what I'm concerned about.
Who is the one?
The one that
I'm trying to laugh.
the one you finished the becoming.
Oh, shit.
What was your first task set out by probably your father? Our fathers.
I received a notice from him, pulled out the letter that I have on me.
If you let him read it, he reads it. Omniasari.
Aggressive.
Omniasari is very far away and through the desert. But I hear they have certain hallucinatory magics that can give you... Basically, if you want more information about any sort of vision, that would be a place to go. Otherwise, you can follow whatever you think. I don't know why. You give me hope, Kimbatunala.
Oh.
I wish you luck in this
I'm
turn.
the
Thank you.
dad.
I appreciate your
Yeah.
insight. I've been torn between where I need
She's
to
not
go,
here.
and I think now my path is much clearer now due to this insight. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad I could help. Are you battling? When are you battling? I will be sure to come and see.
Oh, I do believe we're on the third day. I believe we are on the third day.
Wait,
All right.
you're doing Constitution?
No.
Well, the battle.
There's a
We
battle
haven't
as well.
decided
Oh, yeah, we're battling on the third
Yeah.
deck, yeah.
We are also on the third day.
Yeah.
I will stick around if I am not dead.
Well, not yet, but
I will also look forward to watching your entire group perform. Well, I don't want to take any more of your time. You've been very helpful. I assume we will be seeing each other.
Absolutely. I think we're about to start, and he points over, and there's...
There's more people on top of
You'll have more time. This is a 3-day tournament. So
Okay.
It's getting past almost 10.
yeah, it's nearly 10. But
Are we ending
so...
at 10?
It's in 30, is what I was saying.
10:30.
But they... Kimbatul Invir points over to the entrance to the stadium where Jack had come out before. And there's a very official-looking man in like a tailcoat.
Is he human?
Yes, human man. And he holds his hands out and flicks his fingers, and his voice is magically amplified and says, "Contestants, contestants, please come this way. We are about to begin the opening ceremonies where all of you will be introduced to the crowds." As you can see, they're coming in quite heavily. So, if you come with me this day, we will now show you all off to everybody. Don't feel like you're in a zoo,
Well,
even though it kind of feels like that.
Sorry, who are we nominating as our team leader?
Really?
But please have your team leader at the front of your group. You will all come up behind him. The people back there will tell you more things, and then I will announce you to the crowd.
Great.
And trust me, we have a lively one tonight.
That sounds terrifying.
yeah.
I am basing this character off the old Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy at the restaurant at the end of the universe.
Holy shit.
Awesome.
All right. So
Okay, we nominate Lily.
Lily is nominated. That's fine. And you all gather in groups.
Doing a great
Lily doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. I mean, you're just being introduced like team leader
Okay.
and the group, basically.
Yeah.
So you head
I'll
off.
go back to the group. Yeah.
Yep. You head off back. Jack like
Yeah.
We all
salutes
need
and
that.
says, "Don't die." And
I won't.
and heads
Only-
off with his group.
Only if you don't.
They're clearly like swaying.
Oh,
The
Lord.
whole open sales group is like trashed. And the drow, all of them, like a few of them had come out and talked to the Dragonborn. Now all of them emerge and very slowly make their way out. They're at the back of the group, and they everybody continues in lines and clumps as you are walked down this path. You know those scenes from prison shows where you're walking, where the new prisoners are walking past the yard, and all of the yard is like yelling at
big
them.
jeering.
Yeah. This time they're not. It's a bunch of normal people, and they're not jeering, but you certainly do feel like you're in a fucking zoo. And
because we're walking.
through one specific path, and all of the crowd is sort of on the side as you walk by.
okay.
So everyone's like,
Less the red carpet, more
yeah! And some of them are like, boo to certain people that they don't like. But everybody's sort of getting into it. A few of them, Jack especially, is like, I don't give a shit if you don't like me. And gives this big bow.
Good friend.
Dancing lights above the group.
Mhm.
Doing, semicircles.
Bonira has a nice, like,
my hood
Light
is
show.
down.
hood is down
Don't
or
say my
up.
hat
Do you
is
mean up
down.
or down?
It's down.
You don't have a
Up,
flag.
yeah, all
I'm
right.
like, don't want to draw attention to my group.
Shadow hat.
Do you tell me that?
I don't know. I'm just kind of keeping my head down.
Char's keeping her head down.
Yeah.
Well, because I was the least disguised when we were wanted, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna chill in the back like always.
All right. So Nala's like,
Hopefully not getting arrested.
yeah, let's be celebrating, and everyone's like putting their heads down.
No, just is like a show off.
and,
No,
And,
I'm actually cool with this.
and
I like getting recognized.
all right. So Wynn's waving,
Well, I
and
mean,
everybody
not
else
your
is
evil twin.
is waving around and having a good time with the whole thing. And you eventually make it into this sort of back area of the stadium. Now the stadium is like the Colosseum in Rome, except twice the size. So you walk in and you're in this massive stadium that just like goes like 200 feet in the sky. And you can see there are magical lights. Even from this side, you can see magical lights on the outside floating around and shining down into the center of the Colosseum. And you hear cheers and yells and screams from the crowd.
Is it like the Quidditch World Cup?
It is like the Quidditch World Cup Stadium. My entire life is fucking Harry Potter, and it really sucks that J.K.
I
Rowling's
always
such a
know
shit.
exactly what the fuck Cameron's talking about.
We all like the same nerdy crap. All right.
Yeah. Ooh.
Nice.
I actually had programmed in like a whole thing with cheers that happened every 30 seconds and stuff, but it wasn't working properly.
Aw.
I was very annoyed. Anyway,
okay.
Oh,
so you go in you're carted into this back room. All these teams are shoved into this sort of not very large back room, and you're all sort of really uncomfortably together. All of you've got like weapons and stuff, and you're holding all together, and it's like almost pitch black in there. And the guy who had led you in, the host, is like, all right, everyone. Today is the day that you prove to everyone who you are.
ooh. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Soon, you will get a chance to show the world who you and your people can be. Are you ready? And everybody like goes,
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Jack's like, dude, you're too fucking excited. And he's like, this is my fucking job.
What, he's swearing now?
Looks very upset at Jack.
Aww.
Jack's like, I'm sorry. Look, I'm drunk. And the guy holds up his hand, and it's slightly lit up above, and you can see 3, 2, 1, and the doors open, and you hear. Apparently,
The crowd goes
the crowd
silent.
goes silent.
All at
No,
once.
and then you hear. As this massive crowd is revealed before you, and you walk out, and all you can see is just thousands of people in this crowd as you walk into the center of the Colosseum. And everybody in each team is like waving and sort of squinting as they come into the light. And the magical lights are wrapping around and showing all of the teams. And you see now the grounds are this massive circle, obviously. And in the center is a stage with a few staircases that go up, a raised platform that goes about 10 feet up. And the host guides you all over, and 2 guards come in and guide you all over next to the stage. And he rushes on stage, and Thaumaturge uses his voice again and goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 50th annual Champions of the Kingdom Tournament of Champions." And because it is canon that I named it that.
Tournament of Champions?
Yeah, the Champions of the Kingdom Tournament of Champions. And the crowd goes at this reveal of this host, and he looks around and points at the crowd and pumps his fists in the air, and everybody cheers. Now then, settle down, everyone, settle down. There are 9 teams. Let me make sure. I think they're 9 teams.
I wrote down, including us,
1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9.
There are 9 teams. So yeah, there are 9 teams competing this year. And one by one, we will introduce them to the stage so you can choose who will be your favorites, who will be your least favorites, who will be your mez. And everybody laughs in the crowd. And now, and starting tomorrow, the events, 2 skill challenges and battles against ferocious beasts from across the world will take place. Now, without further ado, let us introduce the teams.
Amazing.
Yes.
And he says, first, all the way from the Beastlands, the mighty monsters and their team captain, Avarg Gragthok. And the team of monsters walk up onto the stage, led by this tall, he's 7 foot tall, a weirdly tall hobgoblin with this perfectly defined beard, but it goes out pretty high.
And the
Ogre.
2 orcs, a goblin, an ogre, and a hobgoblin who's at the head. And Avarg Gragthok leads his troop up onto the stage, and they march up. And they all give a bow in unison, except for the ogre, who goes, and eventually bows. And then they are led off stage, and there's lots of cheering and some boos from the crowd.
Okay.
Clearly some weirdness as far as beasts.
Yeah.
But some people clearly are like, Beastland's okay.
Alright.
But it just depends on how many people have run into lots of orcs or whatever. Next, says the host, all the way from the Hearthmire far to the east, the Jolly Jokers and their team captain, Thunthorpe Thrippy. And Thunthorpe Thrippy and the other halflings that you have met before come on stage, and they start playing and on fiddle and walk up on stage waving, and one of them or a couple of them do handsprings onto stage and land perfectly, and to many cheers of the crowds. And they get cheers and lots of cheers for the halflings.
Yeah.
People like halflings. And they move along. Next, representing the northern dwarves of the Empire, Metallum Rex, led by Uthgar Matro, and the dwarves in all their clanking armor clang up on stage sort of in unison, and line up in a chorus line, and hold all their weapons up in the air in unison to a shunk, and lots of cheers for them as well as they continue along the stage. Next we have a surprising group of Dragonborn. They're representing Gathlando, though they don't want you to talk about that. Led by Yathanmar Hana, the Force of Fire. And the Dragonborn head up, they seem sort of into it.
Which is the brass one? Was the leader?
No, Ladlo Yago was the female brass.
Oh,
Yathan Marhana.
Yathan Marhana is the leader, and she's the female red dragon.
okay, cool.
They head up on stage, sort of half-assing the bowing and like, all right, this is all right. And then they continue moving.
How many cheers for the dragon?
Some, some people think they're exotic. There was some ooze from the crowd at Dragonborn.
Ooh.
You got a little fire in here.
Representing the town of whatever I said before. Mikan Dorazdo, all the way from northwest New Vale Mountains, a team of drow. The Layer of Silk, led by Jan Fornell Rangor. And the Dark Elves come on. 3 of them like float on stage and land, and then the 2 of them come around and stand there, and both of them cast a spell, and it's like a purplish flame wraps around all of them, and then they continue onwards. From the Penchard Archipelago, representing the devious Black Chateau, Jack Finchar and the Open Sails, and the very drunk people sort of stumble on stage. Yeah! And they're cheering along with the crowd, and they eventually stumble off. Representing our home country of Distory, and specifically Athelbury to the north, the Athelbury Adventurers, led by Grigax Roman. Woo! And Grigax and his team head up on stage, and they give a bow and a few kisses to the audience. Head out. And finally, yes, it is. Yes, and finally, representing no one but themselves, the Bone Era from all over the place, led by...
unknown.
Is it just Lilia? Led by Lilia, and you all...
Dancing lights around Lilia.
All
And
right.
she's probably playing something super badass.
I'll call spiritual weapons so Chunky will come with us.
Yeah,
Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
Johnny! Wait, do we have Daisy?
And Daisy's following along.
Yeah.
Been following you for a
I'll
long time.
summon Darkheart to my hand.
Whoosh, and it lights up in
And Daisy
darkness,
just
I'm
like
assuming.
roars.
And Daisy... Because it's a cougar.
Oh my god.
Does Grigax Roman see us?
Yeah, he saw you
Do
before.
they recognize us?
Of course he does.
He saw you before, or he saw a few of you before, and he like gives you a salute as
Do we
you.
get a lot of
I will
cheers?
nonchalantly pull the broken orc tooth I had from our last fight and throw it to him.
Yeah, as you come off stage, he grabs it and is like, "Fuck yeah!"
Good. Did we get a lot of cheers?
You got some.
Okay.
You
Yay!
got some.
Cool.
No one knows who you are.
We're the underdogs.
Parts unknown.
Are we the... Well, I guess we wouldn't know because we haven't talked to everyone. But are we the only, volunteers this year?
So far.
You don't know.
I guess
We don't know. I'm gonna guess. I don't know
Probably.
if Grigax Roman and his group
Oh,
of
'cause there's weird
volunteered
shit
because they're the
happening in
only
the-
other ones that are actually mixed up and from here.
Oh.
Well, but there was weird stuff happening up there.
Yeah, what was Jack talking about? I want
We'll
to talk to
figure it out
Grigax
later.
tomorrow.
Kieran or Sarah was talking about specifically Vidar. There was weird shit happening on Oster. Specifically
oh, right.
But that's where they're from, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 So
what do you
as
think?
all the teams are introduced, more guards shuffle you around to the front of the stage or around it, and the host says continues. Give it up, everyone, for all our brave teams here to face their fears, show off their skills, and battle to the death. Except it's not to the death. We've got a waiver for that. Ha 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 ha. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Wow. Okay.
Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Yikes.
is when the first challenge takes place.
That's a rock one.
You will see amazing feats of strength from some of these adventurers. Be sure to be here and please enjoy the games. And as a special treat,
Uh-oh. Something with the king's here.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Why wouldn't he?
your monarch,
Oh no!
Salvador Story the first, and he waves to the side, and you guys have been on the side of where he's coming up because that's the most dramatic, and the crowd quiets down entirely. And Salvador comes up, and he is behind him is Elena Desford, long hair, and
I have a rock.
you have 2 rocks.
Oh, but I have the one she
silver
was
rock.
specifically looking for.
Oh, fucking shit.
And as they walk past you,
Oh, no.
different dimension?
Don't look at them. Don't look at them.
Don't look at them.
they Salvador specifically scans all of you,
No.
nods to everyone, looks directly at Nala.
Well met.
Take my
Do
hat
I
off.
notice anything from
Like,
there?
Probably.
His eyes are still glowing
They're still glowing silver? Okay.
and they look like they're on fire, sort of a silver fire that's burning in his eyes.
He's hot, right?
He's hot.
Everyone in Benevolence.
Everyone in Benevolence hot.
Who's coming in?
I'm getting like
Even the homeless are hot.
What was it? Who's the guy who plays Lucifer?
Similar, except he's sort of bigger.
Yeah.
He's like buffer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Lucifer's very like the guy actor is like very
Yeah.
lean and buff.
Muscle.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so he walks past, says, "Well, man."
It's like Travis Willingham.
Kind of, yeah, without as much of a beer belly, yes.
Yeah.
And what? He's a dad.
I just
He's
thought he was
allowed.
Dad.
And Elena is doing something,
Ah, fuck.
and you see some magic. She looks around, and then continues.
Ugh. I don't like this.
I don't like
God
none
damn
of this.
Natural 20,
Fuck me! Are you serious?
and
I can't.
and continues on though past you.
Fuck.
Whispers something to Salvador. And as they walk up on stage,
You had to bring it up.
as they walk up on stage, the crowd starts cheering again. More of them. Wow. And Salvador holds up his hand in full gleaming armor. Says, "My friends, welcome to this tournament." And everybody goes, "Woo!" And he continues with, "This year, as has been for the past 2 years, we don't have our friends from the south. But know that as soon as they do the right thing, they'll be joining us again. So for the meanwhile, let's all enjoy ourselves and the tournament. And see who wins this bloody thing." And everybody cheers as he continues, and Elena like does a wave of her hand, and in the sky, in sort of shadowy magic, is made the flag of Distori, which then explodes in sort of light around everybody. And he turns back to her.
What level spell is that?
He turns back to her. Everybody make a perception check.
Fuck.
20.
Oh my god.
19.
15.
All right.
7.
10.
So Nala,
No.
you hear this as you're like listening and have been paying attention to him the entire time. He says, "We've got a plan for that already. Let's get out of here." And then Elena grabs his shoulder, and they go whoosh, and vanish in like this cyclone of
They
shadow.
apparated.
And everybody cheers at the display of magic.
Thanks, I hate it.
Stressed.
I was
Thanks, I hate it.
Thanks.
Sure, you tell the group what happened.
Okay.
Who do you think they were talking about?
I think we know exactly who they were talking about. And look at Kieran.
What? Why did it me?
You hang on to that fucking bag.
Okay.
I think we should bury it somewhere. We're caught with that. We're
So
fucking
as
dead.
as the
Just feed it to the cougar.
Oh my god!
Poop them out later.
Daisy, eat. Dude, that's not a bad idea, actually.
They're this big.
So are cougars.
Wrap it in ham. They don't know the difference.
Imagine
You can't
if the
eat
purple
this.
It's like a
stone
pill.
activated
have
inside.
Very
They're not a
round.
snake. They can't
That'd be
unhinge their
bad.
jaw.
Yeah.
Imagine the purple stone activating inside.
Feed them to the cow.
What cow?
No, it was. Never mind.
So as Salvador Destori and Elena Desford disappear in this puff of magic, everybody cheers, and then the host says, "We will see our adventurers tomorrow. Adventurers, please head back to your accommodations. Meanwhile, we have some entertainment for all of you." And like a huge dancing troupe and whatnot comes on. There's fire going. There's lots of trapeze artists appear out of nowhere from magically enchanted trapezes that aren't hanging on to anything, and they're leaping across the stage as you're like being hustled out by guards. And people are cheering at this display of, it's like the Olympic opening ceremonies.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining the Quidditch World Cup. And the
Similar.
Dementors are going to show up and kill
The
us.
Death Eaters later. Yeah.
Death Eaters, yeah.
They're called.
So are we posting
They're
watch
called
tonight,
treason
or are
hunters.
we
Yeah.
trusting this?
Probably should.
Yeah.
So you all head back, or are shuffled back around the stadium. You get to see the sort of consumer side, the customer side of the, because you're shuffled out the opposite end of the stadium, and you see the visitor side, and there's lots of like carnival games, like popping balloons and throwing balls into goldfish cups and stuff like that. Lots of carnival games. There's a climbing wall, carnival games.
Climbing.
And
Bunch of carnies.
yeah, and they're all hawking their stuff, and you are led around the stadium. You now see the board on your side of the stadium, which currently lists all the team names in some sort of magical script. And there's a score side that's currently just a dash for everybody, because obviously nothing's happened yet. And you continue on, and you are led back to the area of the feast. And is there anything you'd like to do
Drink.
before bed?
I would like to ask, is there something you're carrying that you shouldn't?
Oh.
You did see them all go.
And who was that man? I'm assuming...
That was the king.
That was the case.
Yeah, you wouldn't know who it is. Yeah.
He's the bad guy.
Duh.
Duh. Dun, 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 dun.
Doesn't look that very strong to me.
Did you see the fire eyes, or like?
Silver fire eyes.
I didn't see any of that.
Let's go beat him up.
Kick his ass.
I wouldn't recommend that. With his Vorpal greatsword, that's going to be really fun.
I want. Oh, sorry.
I feel like because she's the quietest, maybe Lilia could kind of do a whisper explanation.
Okay. So,
Maybe.
you can go to your tent and stuff like that. So you
Yeah.
eventually talk. What happened over the course of this entire thing is in their first adventure to defeat some orcs, they found a stone that was about this big. It looks like an egg, just a big egg.
Oh, that's definitely
Big ostrich
swallowable.
egg.
Basically, the Infinity Stones. We're collecting.
Except Infinity Stones are only this big,
Tiny.
and my stones are this big. So it's a clear
said
fucking
egg size.
distinction.
The
Yeah.
ostrich egg
I said
size.
big egg
Ostrich
size.
egg
I was
size.
literally doing the hand
Fine.
symbol.
It's okay. For anyone listening, it's the size of an ostrich egg.
Yeah, ostrich egg, yeah, that's the basic idea. And it was yellow, and it was being used to make an entire orc camp invisible. Because it was being powered up by like this weird crystal contraption. They took it, it turned off the invisibility. They discovered that if you use it, you can turn yourself and somebody standing next to you invisible, but it has a risk of draining your energy. Through some more research and dreams and all this bullshit, and finding Lorella Arloso's home, or the Arloso family home, they find out that this stone is one of the stones of this god Morlos, who is this big evil eldritch monster, basically. And he is 10,000 years ago, he ripped Venevra into the 4 islands it is today and murdered most of the people who were on it because he got jealous of other gods. And the other gods work together to put him back in, like, trap him somewhere. So these are stones that were specifically both his power and used to trap him that are showing up back on Venebra. They now have 2 of them.
In my backpack.
So that is what's happened.
Together in my backpack.
And they also found out upon finding the second one, which opened a portal but killed the people who used it.
I'll show the drawing.
That's
You
really
see-
awful.
You see this drawing that's on the back of this book? It's literally a purple spiral that looks like it was...
some
Can Lilia sing to it? Make it move?
Lilia, make a persuasion check.
I'll get my dice out. I thought we were done rolling. It's a 5.
She says fine, and does that. She sings a tune, and then the shimmering, terrible drawing of a purple spiral starts shimmering a little bit. The image starts moving, but yeah. So they found it, and it killed the people who used the stone, basically. And they talked to one of the dead people using Speak with Dead, and they discovered that Elena Desford, the woman who was also there at the opening ceremonies, was specifically looking for this stone and had sent out these people to do it. So that's why they're nervous.
I'll just slide her a drink.
So, are you trying to grab these stones? Are you trying to destroy them? What are you doing?
Just kind of found
We
them.
have them. That's all we have. We don't really...
All we know, we weren't collecting them until we realized that she was after them. And now we feel like it is probably
It's tool collection.
smart if we get them all first. Because we don't want anything powerful in Salvador's hands.
Some people have talked to gods about it.
They shouldn't be here, these stones, really. So he probably has something to do with them appearing. And as long as he
And-
doesn't have them,
Yeah.
we Gucci.
Canon. Gucci has been invented.
Yes.
Char's a teenager,
Yeah.
okay? She knows
Yeah,
all the
uh-huh.
slang.
Yep.
Yeah.
These are powerful.
They don't technically know what the second one does because they never got it identified. But
Well,
Probably does something
Nigel's been
portal
busy.
Nigel's been
That's
busy.
so
Speaking of which,
good.
it would not be bad to try and see if we can actually talk to Nigel.
No.
No, we tried
No.
that. It's not
No.
gonna happen.
No.
You're gonna get beat up or kicked
Well,
out
we're
or
definitely
murdered.
gonna draw attention to ourselves.
Yeah, and we're trying not to do
And
that.
now
Miss
that
dancing
we
lights.
came face to face with some people we didn't necessarily need to,
Yeah.
maybe drawing attention to ourselves shouldn't be top of the list. Maybe towards the middle bottom.
Do you
I'll-
think we could convince the Black Chateaus to harass the wizards?
I think they're doing that
Stay.
already.
Basically,
should
the most
call it
likely
a night.
candidates for causing rabble rousing.
I don't know about you. I have to fight in the morning, so
We're fighting in the third day.
whatever. I have to do my thing in the morning, so I'm gonna go to bed early. I want to talk to Grigax, but I'm just gonna do that tomorrow.
I'll go to bed as well.
okay.
Who else? So do we need to figure out now who's doing what?
Oh, you can figure that out in the next week.
Yeah.
Okay, because yeah.
So, unless there's anything else.
I don't have anything to read.
Can I? No, oh God. I want to study this letter. Is there again and see if there's any way I can like respond to it?
Make an Arcana check.
If you don't make it,
Can,
someone isn't
Right,
Can
making
borrow
it.
Anuka and I
Oh yeah. Can I
learn
ask you
some
for help?
Orcish? Can I have them?
I'd have to read it.
Depends on what
Would
you
you,
want.
Yeah,
would
that's
you
fair.
be interested in teaching me some of your some Orcish? I do have
Yeah,
this
it's only a 13.
Orcish common book that I've been using.
13?
It doesn't seem like it's respondable to.
Damn. Okay. Thank you.
I would love to teach you more English.
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna let her teach you Orcish?
You're doing something else.
Okay. Make a. Both of you make intelligence checks.
8.
Nailed it.
16.
So, despite Anuka's relatively okay teaching, unfortunately, with everything on your mind, you aren't able to get much, and it doesn't really stick in your head. but you feel like you're like, okay, I'm understanding certain pronunciations that I wasn't getting before. So you're making progress, but you'd have to stick at it.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm assuming I'm going to be here for a few more days, so if you want to learn more, just ask and I'll happily teach the course.
All right. So as you bed down in your interestingly comfortable tent beds,
I pulled mine in different rooms.
sure.
Do we need to be like? Do we want someone to keep watch because of Death Eaters?
Yeah. You can.
I'm gonna poke my head out because I don't need as much sleep as everybody else, and I went to bed early, so
Yeah, you don't sleep.
yeah. So I'm gonna.
I gotta sleep. I got thing to do.
No,
I'm just gonna like kind of like chill by the tent door.
Okay. So you meditate there.
Yes.
I want Anuka to pray to Rijas,
Sure.
asking, is there
gonna
anything
die.
I can do to help with these stones? Just
I haven't
Anything.
told her that we found any stones.
It's Daisy.
She did tell you everything was connected. Make a
Yeah, the red stone.
That
from
I
your
don't
dream.
know about.
make a persuasion check, or persuasion check.
Redstone.
10.
Okay. You are in your little area. You give this prayer as the sounds of the festival around you carry on into the night. And you hear, we're working on it.
Yeah, by sending me these shitty ass dreams. It's coming.
But as you all bed down, we'll finish it up for there tonight. Lots of talking and figuring things out.
Are we gonna be attacked by Death Eaters? Like a survival perception?
We'll figure that out next week.
Real talk, did you remember about that person who was looking for the stones?
Which person?
Elena Desperate?
Elena Desperate?
Yeah, I remember.
It's his
okay.
story.
Like, oh my God.
Jason.
Yeah.
Their story.
Elena was
Their
obviously
story.
looking for the
Sorry.
stones.
Sorry.
So yeah, lots of
yeah.
talking that
I
episode,
forgot
but like lots of important character moments and elements of people's backstories and stuff.
Yeah.
And we are actually going to begin the tournament next time. Apparently.
Yay.
It's next.
Yeah, Cody, I guess we're gonna need you for one more session.
Well, and you just roped her into
A little bit of it
whole
was like, are
ass
we
quest
spending too
to
much time character?
Oh,
Yeah,
find
right.
her homeland.
Yes, you're
All right.
stuck now.
Thank you for listening,
I can
everyone.
take one of the
Goodbye.
stones.